Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geek Space TV's half marathon Seed and Spark excitement stream. Welcome, everyone. It is good to see everyone here. I'm so excited to see all of your happy faces, except that I can't see them, but I can see chat. So it's almost like seeing your happy.
They can make smiley faces in chat.
Oh, they can. You can make smiley faces in chat, and then we can see that. I want to welcome you all here. This is episode 2 of Night Witches, Toil, and Trouble, and this is one of the shows that was brought to you by the last Seed and Spark campaign. And we're in the middle of this wonderful campaign to sort of fund our next season. And if we get greenlit, that does mean that we can do another season of a show like Night Witches, but rather than Night Witches, which is amazing, but has a beginning, middle, and end to it, we will be able to do a show that I've been wanting to do for about 3 decades. Ever since the late 80s, I've been wanting to do a show about the women of the French Resistance. And it looks like if we make our goals, that will be one of the next things we can do next season. So I'm hoping you can support that way, but there are many ways to support Geek Space TV. You can donate to our Seed and Spark, which would be amazing. You can become one of our Patreons. You can subscribe to this channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. You can give us bits, you can give us tips, but also really important is you can just be here with us. You can be here and chat, you can watch us, you can say things, you can add to the wiki if you like, you can tell your friends about it, you can host, you can share, but just being part of this community is really what we're here for and what this is about. We try to make a wonderful space. Geek Space TV is a nonprofit based out of Seattle that is dedicated to creating a welcoming environment for people and to really increasing diversity and representation. So this is a wonderful space. Join our Discord and be with us and hang out with us and see the stories we tell. And that is one of the things that's really special about Geek Space. There are not a lot of places that are dedicated to that on Twitch and online spaces. And so this is one of those places. And I'm so happy to be here, and I'm happy to have you all here with us. Before we start anything, I'd like to introduce our cast. We have an amazing, amazing cast. Sadly, one of our cast members has been taken away by the secret police and could not be here today, and that is Strange Like That, Mac Bouvet, but she will be here next week. So let's introduce the cast that we have. Let's start with Maggie Crone.
Hey everyone, I'm Margaret Crone. I do things on the internet. If you want to check them out right now, I'm really focused on my job. I just got a new job where if you want to check it out, you can check out Ashes of Creation Apocalypse. It's currently in open beta this weekend. That's all I got. You can follow me at Margaret Crone in all the places if you really want to see what I'm up to.
You should do that. You should definitely do that. Let's go next to Rocket Fox.
Hey everybody, I'm Rocket Fox, and I do a myriad of things, from illustration, art, storytelling, live, nonprofit stuff, speaking, performance, a lot of gaming. And if you want to find out anything that I'm doing, Rocket Fox on every platform, and likely you will find me.
Rocket, could you name your nonprofit? Because it has this really cool name with a super cool acronym.
Yes, of course. So the nonprofit I am president of the board for is Superheroines, etc., which acronyms to SHE. That was intentional. And our mission is to empower women to, and those who identify as women, to embrace their inner nerd. And we do this by speaking at different comic conventions. We've done a lot of panels on geek feminism, the importance of representation in various different media, things like that. And we are chapter driven. Currently, we only have live chapters in St. Louis and Cincinnati, but we've been everywhere, and we are open to opening chapters everywhere. So if you want to find out more about that, you can check us out at superheroinesetc.org.
Excellent. And last but not least, the youngest of our Night Witches. Well, actually, I think that's not true because some people have lied about their age. The youngest person who's not lied about their age.
The officially youngest. Hi, I'm Shell Game. And you can find me on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram. But on Instagram, I'm the Shell Game. And if you're in the Seattle area, you can check me out in some of the local improv theaters that are around. I would go to sarahperforms.com at some point. I swear, I know I've been saying this for I don't know how many months at this point, but it is months. It will get updated. It will. It will.
I believe you. I do. I believe you. I believe you're also a player on Worlds Beyond, which runs on Wednesdays here on Geekspace TV.
I am indeed. I play Anon Nisi, who is an appealing paradox, and she's a diplomat who knows how to read people and get as many secrets as she possibly can. People like her, and she appreciates that.
The line between diplomat and spy is such a...
you get trained for things, and then you utilize your talents.
Indeed. So I want to thank you all. We are, this is our cast. Oh, and me, I should introduce myself. I am Trooper SJP, and I'm an affiliated streamer here on Twitch. And in my other life, I am a musicology professor, and I teach the history of rock and roll. That's what I do when I'm not running games and playing the banjo and streaming story-based video games. So that is our cast. This is the Geekspace TV, and now we're going to throw it to the credits so we may begin episode 2 of Night Witches, Toil, and Trouble. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of Night Witches, Toil, and Trouble. Title, Don't Turn Around, the Politruk's in Town. So this episode, we're really going to be dealing with the secret police a little bit. And at the beginning of every episode, I want to read a quote from one of the actual Night Witches, one of the actual women who flew in the 588th Night Bombing Regiment. But before I read this quote, I want to just say a little bit about the secret police. And the secret police are the NKVD, which stands for the People's Commissariat of Internal Affairs. And they're the police, but they also do secret police. They're military tribunals. And they were the ones that carried out the Great Purge. The Great Purge lasted between 36 and 38 with its high point in 1937. And the Great Purge, during the Great Purge, the Soviet government killed around 1 million people. And they jailed around 1.3 million people. And they killed people who who they thought were reactionaries or wreckers or enemies of the state. And that included artists, intelligentsia, religious leaders, peasants who were thought to be too rich, ethnic minorities, religious minorities, and especially members of the Red Army. It was a huge purge that just killed people from all over the place, often without trials. At the height of the Great Purge, 1,000 people a day were being rounded up and killed. And it was the NKVD, the secret police, that were mostly doing this. And they sort of rule of law was sort of suspended, that you didn't have trials. And anything could be done to get you sort of killed in this moment. Or you would lose your job, you'd be arrested, you'd be put in a gulag. It was this terrible moment of hysteria and paranoia of the enemies of the state. And this moment of madness that sort of touched everyone was also something that everybody in Russia at this moment, even though we're currently in 1942, they knew of. Every citizen was touched by this insanity, many personally, and everybody knew someone who was stripped of their party membership or lost their job or who was imprisoned or who was executed or just disappeared. And the Red Army was devastated by the Great Purges. They killed 3 of the 5 marshals of the Red Army, and huge swaths of all of the people, like the officers of the Red Army, were killed, which is why when the Nazis came and invaded, they were not really prepared. One of the outcomes, right, one of the sort of consequences of the Great Purge was that every military unit had assigned to them 2 members of the secret police, the NKVD. One person would be the Politruk, and the other person is the deputy Politruk. So every unit had in it 2 people who were members of these dreaded secret police who at any time could get you killed or arrested for not being a good enough communist. And our unit, of course, has 2 of these secret police members who we will meet today, as a matter of fact. So with that background, I would like to read a quote by Senior Lieutenant Nina Rospopova, who was a pilot, a flight commander, and she won the Hero of the Soviet Union. And she said, "The year of 1937 is well known as the beginning of a massive reprisal against the population of the whole country. I, along with 15 Komsomol members of my glider school, were denounced as enemies of the Republic. We were suspected of being spies. I was fired from my position and from the Komsomol League, and I stayed at home in total isolation from the outer world. Nobody dared even to talk to me or look in my direction. Everybody was scared to death to be thought of as a friend of the enemy of the Republic. It was a witch hunt at that time, and many innocent people perished. The only ones who supported me in that tragic situation were some pilots from the glider school. They helped me with money and with food. One of the 15 was sentenced to death and was killed. This situation lasted for 15 days. Then they returned my Komsomol membership card, and I came back to the glider school, where I was re-enlisted." So I'd like to ask you all some questions before we start. The first question I'd like to ask, and anyone can take it, would be, what did the Soviet state take from you? Who would like that question?
I'll take that one.
Mhm.
I don't think that Lena perceives it as her brother being taken. She perceives it as like his sworn duty and him stepping up into it. But the reality is that he was told that he had to go, and he was the only one on the farm that could really do anything. So it's left to her parents, who don't have. They're old and they don't have the ability to get a whole lot done. So the fact that her and her brother are in the Army means that, sorry, I say Army and I keep meaning Air Force. The fact that they're both there means that the farm is just rotting in the ground.
Okay, here's another question. One of you two, please take it. Why does the NKVD already have a file on you? And how did you get around that black mark to join the regiment?
I'll take this one.
Please take it.
So my father back in Leningrad is a successful chemist, and my mother is a successful painter. And you know, as an artist, she had some ideas that were perhaps considered a little too renegade for what the powers that be would have liked. And whenever I ended up going into university, instead of following in my father's scientific footsteps, I ended up going to become an artist myself and hanging out in the cafes, talking things that maybe, you know, we had to speak a little bit more quietly. And so in part, you know, focusing more on flying was, you know, I did, even though it might not be obvious after our training mission last time, I did actually develop a knack for it. And so pursuing this was also kind of a way to show that, you know, I'm a very loyal member of our society.
Yes. And for our new member, let me ask you, what does the Marxist-Leninist struggle against the forces of reaction mean to you personally?
Ooh, I think I need more details too, because I'm.
So you're in this, right? You're part of the Soviet Union right now, part of this amazing experiment to empower the people and the workers and to sort of strike down the czars, the nobles, the capitalists who will oppress the people. This is right in that we are all equal. And here we are in this wonderful space. But we also just had, we also have Stalin and secret police running around. But there is this great struggle, right, to keep this idea of equality alive. And this is the struggle that we're all fighting for as great members of the Soviet state. So I suppose the question is, what does this mean for your character? Do you care about this at all? Is it something that you believe in? Do you not believe in it? Where are you when it comes to Soviet politics?
I think Irina sees this as more, I know it's terrible, but she just really loves flying. So for her, this is kind of just fun, but at the same time, she does take it seriously as in regards to the safety required for those things. But when it comes to politics, I think she thinks that's better left to like people like her parents who care about that kind of stuff. But for her, I think it is one of those things where she cares a lot about her family, and she wants to make sure that, you know, she's kind of helping. She knows that she's helping not only her family, but other people's families, and making sure that they can, you know, live and survive.
Excellent. Thank you all. So last time on Night Witches, we had 3 fresh new recruits who come into training to be part of these new regiments. And these units, I think you should each, I don't think you've introduced your characters' names. Would you do that? Introduce your characters' names and what you look like. Starting with our section leader.
Yes. So my name is Titania Petrova, and you know, at this point, she is in her uniform, but it's still, you wouldn't be surprised having seen her in civilian clothes and seeing her in a uniform. It's very sleek, very pressed, as much as kind of secondhand uniforms given to the ladies can be. But she carries herself with a very official kind of sense, you know, and that, speaking to her background of her parents and such, she takes a little bit more of that from her father, you know, very kind of, you know, not rigid necessarily, but a little more, you know what I'm saying, just a little more
He's got some military bearing.
Yeah.
What about young Lena?
I am playing Elena Dozmanova, and she's sort of like a wide-eyed, excited about doing everything she possibly can to save Russia and to make a better life for herself, and to, in the sense of like making a better life for her country, not necessarily in the sense of specifically her own personal gain. She's very, stature is very like small and slight, and she has been flying since she was 12. She would sneak in and she would try and learn as much as she could about planes then. And she's always rumpled. I mean, her uniform is slightly too big for her. She tries to fix it like all the time, but it just sort of inevitably is falling apart in one place or another. And yeah, she's just super small, sort of mousy, excited about everything. But last episode, she did have a taste of how dangerous it can be.
Mm-hmm. And our third cast member for today, who you all have not met yet, Maggie, why don't you name your character and say what you look like?
Oh, I don't get to keep character name? No, I'm just kidding.
Character name.
I am Irina Alberg, and basically even when she's trying to look serious, you can kind of see that she's just, she's got kind of that sly look on her face, like there's lots more going on in her eyes, like than you would think. She has like messy brown curly hair that's always frizzy, and she tries to keep it in place, but it just never works out. She's kind of a more like strong looking, muscular build. She's not as petite as Lena there. But she's also not well kept. Like her uniform isn't perfect. She just kind of like throws it on. She doesn't care about what she looks like. That's not like a main concern of hers. So she, that's kind of just what she goes for. And she's loud and boisterous and just like full of energy.
Good.
And very untidy.
And very untidy. Some people who need to work on their military bearing, people.
Trying. She probably gets yelled at a lot for that.
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
The last session, our young recruits sort of come onto base, and they meet some people. They meet Masha Rodina, who is their training officer, when she punches out a private who's drunk and sort of manhandles her on the ferry over. They meet Anastasia Sheremetova, who is young, naive, wide-eyed, and...
Not my friend.
She's
your
my
best friend. Best friend, who arrives with way too much luggage, with a lot of dresses and things that are not really appropriate, who is also the sister of the deputy secret police. So that's great. Who's not that competent and who's in their unit. They also meet the rest of their section, Sarah Rabinovitz, who is a poet, also from Leningrad. They meet Polya Makarova, who's sort of a big redhead who, likes to drink and also sleep. They get into some trouble in the beginning. They see the 218th, which is a male regiment, just sort of taking their supplies, and Titania works out a deal with Boris Smirnov, who's the supply sergeant over there, to keep some of their supplies. So they're running around on the base. Things seem to be fine. They meet Alexei Popov, who is a friend of Lena's brother, who sticks up for them when they get a little bit of teasing for being women by other people from his unit. It's mostly, I think everything is fine, except that they embarrass some of the men of the 218th a little bit. There's some tension there. And they go off on their first... Oh, I should say this is important. When Titania goes off to the men's supply section to give some packs of cards that she'd promised, she gets a crate of vodka and a package meant for Sergeant Sophia Yu, who is their quartermaster, which has been put in their barracks for the moment. They go off on their first mission, and it does not go well. It does not go well at all. Nick, who is their navigator, totally misses a waypoint, messes up, abandons the mission just completely. The other two planes decide to push forward. Lena makes the wrong call. She has to turn back around and come back the other direction. And then Lena's plane and Titania's plane clip each other's wings. The bombs don't fall properly. They don't even really hit the target very well. Their planes are damaged. They're flying in. Lena dials in, lands her damaged plane perfectly. But as Titania is trying to land her plane, Anastasia, who's her navigator, freaks out and is thinking that she's going to die, starts crying and grabs the throttle that she has in her cockpit, trying to land it, and the two of them that's not good. And the plane crashes, it catches on fire, they're pinned in this plane, and Titania has a choice. She can make it out cleanly with only minimal damage to herself, but leaving Anastasia in the plane, or she can pull Anastasia out, giving herself more damage, which is what she does. And as we sort of end this moment, Titania and Anastasia are rushed off to the medical tent, and the rest of, and actually this is a little retcon, and the rest of the women are told to go to their barracks and wait for debriefing. But Nick, one of our night witches, the one who abandoned the mission, is told not to go back to the barracks, that the secret police would like to talk to her. So she goes off the other direction when Sarah and Polia and Lena go back to their barracks, awaiting their debriefing. And when they arrive, they see Alexei Popov in a t-shirt and boxer shorts and a gag in his mouth tied to the support beam of the barracks. And Lena pulls out this kitchen knife that she had stolen, cuts him free, and as he stands up, they hear outside, "Inspection," and that was the voice of Anastasia's sister, the deputy secret police, waiting outside to inspect when they have a man in his underwear in their barracks. And that is where we're going to start, but not in the barracks, in the medical tent. So, in the medical tent, we have Titania Petrova and Anastasia Sheremetova being treated, but also in the medical tent is Masha Rudina, your training officer. And she is angry, and she's sort of like a little bit red-faced, and she's talking to the doctor, trying to find out if you'll be okay, and what, your status. She seems to be upset that the doctor is not giving her more information quickly enough. She wants to know if her people will be all right, if what kind of damage have they had. I want to know. And the doctor, who's an older woman, little crinkles in her eyes, gray hair, sharp, crisp uniform, says, "Well, Senior Lieutenant, I think they'll be fine. They probably should not fly tonight, but I think the damage is not too excessive. They will be all right." And the Senior Lieutenant walks over to both of you, and Anastasia's crying. She's really upset. She's really scared. She almost died, and this is frightening to her. And the Senior Lieutenant looks at you both. "The doctor here says you're not going to die."
Well, that's good.
Petrova,
Yes, ma'am.
how's your leg?
It's been better, but it's been worse.
Now, at this moment, I want to point out that because you successfully finished that mission, the last mission, you get to advance. So in this game, which is powered by the Apocalypse, you have advances when you make certain missions or if you do certain things. And this particular advance is specified what it is. After this advance, you may open up a regard slot. And a regard slot is a feeling that you have towards a person or a plane. And this feeling that you have, it can be positive or negative. For example, you may hate someone, or you may fear someone, or you may love someone, or admire them, or some kind of feeling towards either a person or a plane. And whenever you make a roll that has to do with that person or plane, you get a +1. Though if that person or plane dies or is destroyed, you take a harm. So I ask you, after your experience here on the base, who do you have regard for, and what sort of regard is it?
I actually have regard for Lena. Despite the way that the mission went, Titania was not out of it enough to not notice that she was able to land the plane, which is something that she herself was not able to do under the extenuating circumstances of Anastasia. And so she found that to be pretty impressive, also knowing how, kind of inexperienced she may come across as. She did not anticipate that and was very pleased and admired that.
So what is the feeling that you have for Lena?
We're gonna say admiration.
Okay.
Aww.
Thank you. Just she says, all right. Now, there may be some personnel changes, Junior Lieutenant, to your section. We will see. We will see. I want you both to go back to your barracks. I need to go find some people. We will do a debriefing after that mission and we'll find out what happened. I expect to hear everything, but I need to find someone first. Wait there for me, both of you, and I will be there shortly.
We'll be there.
You're dismissed. And she leaves out of the medical tent to go and find someone that she wants to add to your section. Meanwhile, over in the barracks, I just want to set the scene for you. It is evening because you've had your day mission.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's the end of the day. You're in this barracks right now with Alexei in his underwear, with Sarah, and with Polya. Also with a crate of vodka that you are not authorized to have, and a package for Sophia Yu that you have no idea what's in it.
How big are our lockers?
Your lockers are quite tall. They're like full length. They're actually large wardrobes. But before you say anything, I just need to say one more thing for you. It's important to know
It's going to be part
this.
of the inspection, isn't it? They're going to open up the lockers.
Usually they do.
Yeah.
Usually they open up the lockers, but also you need to know this. Never have you had an inspection in the evening, and never have you had an inspection with the deputy Politruk. It has always been, your training officer and maybe your squadron commander. This woman has never done an inspection, and all your inspections have always been in the morning. So that's a little weird. And also, and I'm going to say this because you hear this, now I'm going to note that these things are simultaneous. I assume that while you're hearing these things outside, you're doing whatever it is you're going to be doing in the barracks. But after you hear her say, "Inspection, I'm coming in," you hear a man's voice, whose voice you've never heard before, saying, "I want to go in too." And then you hear her say, "You can't go into the women's barracks. That's not appropriate." And then he says, "But I think that I should be there. If what you say is true, I think that I should be here definitely to see it with my own eyes." And then she says, "Well, if what we've heard is true, I will invite you in afterwards." So that is a short conversation that is happening while you're doing what?
So, I think Lena is full on panicking. Her hands are sweaty. She's drenching through her uniform. But she has the presence of mind to throw open Anastasia's trunk because she's hoping sister to political connection, and she lifts up a whole bunch of the dresses and she tells Alexei to get in because she figures out of all of the things that they can get in trouble for, that's probably the biggest.
Alexei in a bit of a panic. And I also want to note this is, Sarah is also in a bit of a panic. Polya doesn't really quite know what's going on. She's like, "Oh, damn." And Sarah sort of just grabs your arm really quickly and she says, "I cannot get in trouble." And Alexei sort of dives into this steam locker and sort of like covers himself up in these like very frilly dresses. And he like kind of folds himself in, being part of a farm, one of these sort of, he's from this farming community like you. He, like you, did not necessarily get all the best nutrition. So he's not particularly bulky. So he can kind of fold himself into this steamer trunk. And he puts this sort of like a peach frilly dress over himself.
Lena's going to tug the rest of the dresses over and then shut the steamer trunk and then look at Sarah and go, "I don't think we can avoid that."
And then the door opens and in walks this woman that you've seen but never actually spoken to, Sveta Sherametova. She's a senior lieutenant, and she's the deputy secret police. And as the door opens and she walks in, she looks like she's just ready. Like she's got this sort of smile on her face. And you can see another man, you can see this man outside who's also a senior lieutenant, and he's sort of, wanting to look inside, and she walks in. I need you, if you don't mind, well, no, not yet, you'll roll soon. She looks in, I know, the roll's gonna happen. She looks in and she looks around and she says, it's an inspection. Open your wall lockers.
Lena's just gonna like walk over. Oh, as soon as she came in, Lena attempted a salute. She's just like the fact of like raising her arm, you can just see that like she also hasn't had a chance to really clean up after the like plane crash, like the shrapnel clipping her. So she's a wreck. And she just like tries to go over and she tries to open her locker. And it takes like 2 tries for her to like just get it undone. And then she like opens it up. And of course there's like almost nothing in there because she doesn't really have a whole lot of clothes, right?
Mm-hmm. And Sheremetova thought, like, she looked like she had like this expectation of like, aha. And then she looks and there's nothing there. And she looks back, she says, all of you, open all the lockers.
Would we, I guess there wouldn't be lockers or locks on the lockers for like Titania's locker and Nick's locker. Like, would we have access to those?
You would not.
Right.
You would not. So Sarah opens up her locker and she looks very nervous. And Polya opens up her locker. She sort of like, she's like, whatever. And Sveta Sheremetova is like, can't open these lockers, eh? Fair enough. And she looks through the other lockers. And then she decides to look around the room. And like, you're like, what is she looking for? Normally when there's an inspection happening, what they're doing is they're looking to see whether or not your clothes are put away in order, whether or not things are folded well. They're looking to see whether there's dirt in the room. There's like let me go and run my finger along the edge of the wall to see if you've actually cleaned well enough. Have you swept well enough? This is normally what they're looking for, and that is not what she's doing. She's looking for something or someone.
I think
Tatiana, where did you put the crate of alcohol?
I put the crate kind of toward, so the way I envisioned the room being, there are the bunks,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a couple crate, because all of the supplies are kind of cattywampus because it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I put them kind of with boxes of other kind of renegade supplies that we were allowed to keep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're all kind of stacked over in the side.
I think
She turns to each one of you, and then she says, short one, you. Have you had any visitors today?
we were out on the training mission, and it was an incredibly difficult mission. It has taken a lot of time, but I am invested in ensuring that there is only the best pilots in the airs, and therefore I landed the plane.
While you're speaking, she sits down on Anastasia's steamer trunk.
Lena's just white. She's just profusely sweating. This woman does not handle, for as much as she's like, I will like go and get things done, she is out of her element. She knows this is bad, and she's terrified.
I'm gonna let you know if you're sweating underneath this thing. This thing is thick. If it shows through, like, that's some sweat.
I may or may not be sweating right now, but you can't tell.
It's all the sweat. And she just sort of like runs her finger along the steamer trunk with a sort of a sense of maybe nostalgia, perhaps. And then she looks up and she says, "You look nervous."
It has been a long day, and this inspection is not what I had anticipated. I am worried that it is because I damaged the plane. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to I wanted to show that I could do it. I've been flying for so long. I am a good pilot. Normally, I just didn't have, I will be better.
This is an act up role. You are
boy.
acting up, my friend. or actually, you could be tempting fate. This is your choice.
Can you remind me which ones those each tie to?
So if you're tempting fate, that's guts. If you act up, it depends on how you act up. If you're acting up like a hooligan, then you roll luck. If you're acting up like a lady, then you roll guts. And if you're acting like a natural-born Soviet airwoman, then you roll medals. And for those of you watching at home, this is powered by the Apocalypse system. And we roll 2d6, and 10 or above is a full success. 7 to 9 is a partial success. 6 below is bad. It's a failure, and bad things will happen.
The 6 below is what we experienced last time.
A lot of them. And then when I did my preempt roll for this session, it was a 5. So, oh boy. I think
It'll be fine.
I think Lena would. This would be more of a hooligan act. She doesn't. She doesn't have guts.
Okay.
It's.
And I feel like you're not acting like a lady. So I feel like you're acting like a hooligan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So roll your luck. Oh, but wait. Before you do, I need to ask you a question. What are you doing with your regard slot?
I am. Who would I give regard to? I think actually she did see Tatiana pull. Because regard can go the other way too. So here's what's going through my mind.
Can go to your plane or to a person. Plane or a person.
So here are the 3 that are kind of going through my mind. She saw Nick turn tail and leave.
Yes.
And in her very I expect the world, we are here for Mother Russia. We should do everything we possibly can. That might mean dying. I am terrified, but I will do it. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
On the other hand, she saw Tatiana pull Anastasia out of the fire. And when she went to land her plane, it listened to her so incredibly well. It was it knew her on a certain level.
Those are all good ones.
Huh?
Those are all good ones.
Thanks. That's where my brain's at. Since it's Lena, I think though her regard would go to the plane because she's invested so much of her life in flying. The regard that she holds for the plane, it was the 42, I think, wasn't it?
Yep.
The regard she holds for the plane is. I don't know if I have a single word to describe it, but it's kind of like that feeling when you click with and find someone that you're just oh, this is effortless. We don't need to think about this. We can just walk in the same direction.
So I will say you have simpatico with your plane.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
I like that.
So now I know what your regard slot is and it does not apply to this situation. Please roll your luck.
All right.
To see how she feels about your story.
Oh, I got to click my little icon. There we go.
Good luck. Okay.
All right. I failed that.
You did
and we
fail
don't
that.
have any mission pool.
Nope.
So, oh boy.
She looks at you and she says, the only thing you're worried about is the mission that was terrible. That she gets up and she's like, And she goes right back to your locker. She looks around. And then she doesn't find anything because you don't really have anything.
No, she has nothing.
But you have this little journal that you sew together with paper by yourself. She just takes it. And then she walks over to Sarah's locker. And you can see Sarah just go white and start sweating. She starts poking around. And she goes, book of poetry. Let's hope none of the poets are wreckers. She just takes the book of poetry. And she looks into Polia's locker. She looks around. She goes, huh, what's this? She pulls out a medal, a medallion, like not a medal like a military medal, but a religious medallion of a saint. And she goes, interesting. And she takes it and she goes, I'll just take all of this information. You'll see me again. And she walks out, and there's the guy who's like, and the guy's like, was he there? She goes, no. And they walk off, and you're left.
Sure we're not playing Monster Hearts, and she's stealing. No, I'm just kidding.
Stealing, you don't know. And you're left in this room, the three of you, and she's taken your journal, she's taken Sarah's book of poetry, and she's taken this medal that was a good luck charm, this sort of religious medal.
Lena's gonna look at Sarah, who had said that she can't get into trouble, and say, "Are you in trouble?"
She says, maybe some of those poets, one of those poets was killed recently for not being Soviet enough.
Any blood that Lena had in her face is gone, and so but she goes over and she opens the trunk so that Alexei can get some air.
And this is when you start hearing, this is I think when Tatiana and Anastasia would arrive from the medical tent.
So then Lena's gonna slam the trunk lid back down because she doesn't know who's at the door.
You two arrive back in. Well, Anastasia's going to stay in the medical tent a little bit longer because she's feeling very bad. She doesn't feel like she can come back just yet.
Yeah. All right.
She's had a lot of emotional turmoil.
A lot of emotional turmoil. She feels like she needs to be in the medical tent a little bit longer.
I'm not going to say that Titania wouldn't have encouraged her to stay and rest herself and not walk back together.
Is that so that we can finish the chocolates on our own?
She does not. Those are not for her anymore.
You lose chocolate privileges.
The chocolate privileges have gone.
So you arrive in this barracks. Please go ahead.
So she walks in and sees everyone looking really uncomfortable and standing very uncomfortably. What is going on here?
Nothing.
What's actually going on here? Lena?
We just got inspected,
closer.
but when we came in, look, it wasn't our fault. Honestly, we just came in and Alexei was, and she opens the trunk and she's like, Alexei was just tied to the post, exactly like this.
And Alexei pops his head up and he's got this hat half on his head and he's looking freaked out.
Please don't turn us in.
Pulls him, removes him forcibly and physically from the trunk. What are you doing here?
It wasn't my fault. The guys in my unit, they've been riding me really hard and they grabbed me, they stripped me of my clothes and they brought me here and they tied me up.
Please don't turn us in.
So at this point, Titania looks around and sizes up who might be the closest in size to Alexei, which probably would be Polia, maybe?
Yeah, definitely.
Polia, grab your extra uniform and put some clothes on him.
Okay. And she goes into her locker, which has been rummaged through, and she picks up one of her extra uniforms and she sizes it up and it'll actually fit him pretty well. So she hands it to him and he starts putting on the tunic and the pants, and he's got no socks on because you don't have socks. So he puts on the boots without any kind of wrapping.
So as he's doing this, Titania is pushing him toward the door and literally just go out and just pushes him out, in whatever state of dress that he's in, and then closes the door.
Bye.
He didn't have time to wave because he was pushed out real fast.
What happened here? Why is everything all over the place?
We had an inspection. The Lena like loses the ability to speak and just sort of sits on the floor and stares at her hands.
Sarah, what happened?
This guy was in the room, tied up, and then the minute we got him untied, Deputy Politruk came in for an inspection with some male officer. I think he must have been from the kids unit, and they went through everything. They were looking for him.
Obviously they didn't find him. Did they find anything else?
Yes, they didn't find what they were looking for, so she got mad and she just took whatever she could. She took a journal of Lena's. She took my book of poetry. And she took, I think, some kind of religious medal from Polia. She's going to be trouble.
Okay. Well, all right. So Titania goes over and grabs the vodka box.
She didn't see.
Picks up and takes it back to the middle of the room. Where, obviously, you found a spot where she didn't look to hide Alexei. Where was that?
Lena just points at the trunk.
All right. So Titania opens the trunk. Help me put the vodka at the bottom of here. And so she starts like putting the crate of illicit vodka at the bottom of this trunk and covering it with dresses. And then she goes and grabs the little package has anybody seen you? We need to give this to her.
Would we actually have seen her on our way back to the barracks?
No, you wouldn't have seen her because she'd be in the quartermaster space. You would have seen Mel Kamenova, the mechanic armorers, but you didn't see her because she was not out there.
Okay.
Well,
Lena's gonna kind of help, but then she's gonna like drop, like she's gonna be real clumsy for a little while.
And that's when you hear more steps coming up to your barracks. It's a busy barracks day.
So Titania takes the little package and puts it into the trunk with everything else, hustles some dresses over it, and then just closes the steamer trunk.
And in walks Senior Lieutenant Masha Rodina, your training officer, with a woman you've never seen before. A sergeant, sort of frizzy, dark hair, sort of wild, slightly unkempt uniform, but sort of tall and broad. And these two walk in, and she looks around and she says, "Where is the princess? Where is Junior Lieutenant Sheremetova?"
She was too delicate to leave the medical area, and she is recovering with all of her emotions.
I see. Well, I would like to introduce you to Sergeant Irina Alberg, who is going to be in your section for a while yet. Sergeant, if you'll have a seat.
Yeah, I greet them however is appropriate. I don't know what that is exactly. And then hi.
High fives all around.
Yeah.
Shots.
Shots, yeah.
Have a seat, everyone. We'll be doing our debriefing before you'll be free for the rest of the day. So, let's talk about that training mission. It's supposed to be very easy. What happened?
Well, as we were going, I believe, and I can speak for at least my own experience in the plane, but the planes were, while they are lovely planes, a little different from the ones that we trained with in glider school. And that, coupled with the excitement of being here for the first time and the nerves, I believe that got the best of us.
Farm girl, what about you?
I attempted to course correct, but I realized at the last moment that unfortunately my course correction was not the precise course correction, so I course corrected again. And when I found myself over the battlefield, I looked dead into the eyes of Tatiana and realized that our planes were about to collide. So I jerked as fast as I could. Unfortunately, as soon as I turned, then it clipped our wings, and the next thing I knew, I just had to turn around and come back as fast as I possibly could, and then I tried to land the plane, and I landed the plane. Ma'am.
Arena is trying to like not to hold in a chuckle.
Now, as you know, you have to qualify in both navigation and in piloting to get your wings and graduate. Tragically, no one here was able to find anything in the daylight. So I'm bringing in Sergeant Alberg, who has qualified in navigation already. Perhaps she can show you some things, how to find things in broad daylight. Unlucky for you, you won't be flying in broad daylight anymore. Now we're doing night missions. Well, I'm sure you're expecting me to yell at you, to press you down, to make you do lots and lots of push-ups for hours, perhaps clean this whole place with your own clothing. Well, I'm not. Look, this was your first mission. It was your first time flying in a military context, and that is difficult. It makes sense that being confronted with trying to land bombs, live bombs, on targets for the first time, you would lose your way a little bit. That happens to everyone. It is understandable. You were not the worst. Other sections were even more outrageous. It was more embarrassing. I think perhaps Arena Alberg could tell you about some of the people in her section and what they did in this mission. It was embarrassing. But it happens.
Ma'am, I can assure you that we will not let you nor Mother Russia down again.
Ever.
Good. I have some bad news. Sergeant Nick Volkova will not be with you for some time. Her performance has gained the attention of the Politruk, who wants to speak with her in an extended way. Sergeant Alberg here will be taking her place for some time, for the foreseeable future. I will do everything that I can to make sure that Sergeant Volkova returns to this section. And please know that that she will return if there's anything that I can do about it.
Thank you.
Well, that was a long and stressful day. I suggest you get to know your new section member, and I will find out what I can about what happened here. Anything I should know?
Well, I come to understand that there was an inspection, and I was curious what you were looking for.
I did not do any inspections. What do you mean there was an inspection?
Titania looks at Lena, and then looks at Sarah, and then looks at Polia. Sarah, would you explain what happened?
I love that she already knows that if she asks Lena, it's just going to be a word vomit.
Sarah says, Senior Lieutenant Svetlana Sheremetova, the sister of our dearly beloved section mate, came in for inspection about a half hour ago, looking for something, and she took some of our things.
Titania jumps in right away as she finishes. We would, of course, be more than happy to help provide you with anything it is you may need from us, anything you might be looking for, if only we knew, we would be more than happy to help.
I have a question for you.
I have an answer, perhaps.
Are you acting up? Do you want something? Or is this not an act up?
Maybe acting up a little bit.
If it is, what do you want?
I want to stir trouble between the two powers that be.
Oh, you would.
Hey, man, she shouldn't be coming around poking around our business.
Hey, I appreciate you, because that Lena's...
I think that you need to roll your act up roll. Are you acting up like, you're not acting up like a lady? Are you acting up like a hooligan or a natural born airwoman?
Out of curiosity, what would acting up like a natural born airwoman be? Because I'm trying to act up in that I'm trying to show her that she is in charge of this unit and she should be the one who is aware of any of these things. And that was completely inappropriate through the chain of command for this person to come in here.
That feels like a natural born airwoman to me.
Yeah,
is what that feels like. So I would like you to roll medals, and I would like to ask you one more question.
Yes.
Do you think that your regard for Lena is relevant to this role?
I think it involves, I don't know if it's fair to say, I think it involves all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of involves all of us since they came in and intruded on our privacy and took stuff away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So my answer is yes.
I feel like that is fair. I feel like you are perhaps trying to protect her in this sort of situation. All of you, but also her. So roll medals +1.
All right. Come on, RNG.
Do it.
Hey! Titania rolls a 10 for success.
Ah, that is a full success, my friend. So, as a full success, you can choose 2 of the following 3 things. You can make someone do what you want, which would be to stir up that trouble. You can ensure that there are no consequences for your acting up, or you can add 1 to the mission pool.
Ooh. So
You
how
get
many
2,
of these
but not 3. So you can get what you want.
Do I just choose 1?
You get 2.
2? Oh,
Because it's a full success.
it must be my birthday today. All right. Let's put 1 in the mission pool.
Mm-hmm.
That is a definite. And let's say that my acting up gets what I want.
Okay. This means that there will be some consequences for you for this acting up.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be lovely.
There's always consequences for anything good to happen. That's fine.
So as you're pointing out what happened, you can see her, she's not the friendliest woman. She's stern. She gets mad easily. And as you're telling her about this, and as Sarah's explaining, you can just see like the steam rising off of her. She's just she seems very unhappy. And she seems to be more and more unhappy as you explain what is happening.
I would also like to point out that during this explanation, Titania also points out that during this inspection, some things were taken, and she didn't know that was supposed to happen during inspections.
Were these contraband things that were taken?
They were not. They were personal items.
I see. Well, I'm going to leave you all, airwomen. I have some things to do. You will see me later. Excuse me. And she walks out and she slams the door and it sort of shakes because
As soon as the door's closed, Irina's just gonna be like, she's not as bad as she looks. Anyways, what really happened here?
Well, Titania,
You all are acting really suspect.
Lena studies her boots.
Especially her. She points at Lena.
Titania kind of crosses the room. Hopefully that will buy us some time. So, Irina, tell us enough of all of this. You'll find out what happened later if it's relevant. Tell us more about yourself.
Hey, I find that these little things come up in play even when you're on the field. So I want to know what I'm getting myself into.
Ladies, does anyone care to explain?
How do I know I can trust you?
Looks at everybody. She just walks over to this. You see this? There's this crate. She opens up the crate. She opens up the steamer trunk, moves some frilly dresses, opens up a crate, pulls out a bottle of vodka that she probably should not have.
Ah, I see what you guys are into. I'm down. Are we taking shots?
Oh, he goes, hell yeah. And she pulls out these little tin cups and she starts pouring vodka for everyone. She's like, y'all explain it. And she hands out.
We'll take one for sure.
Lena's gonna down hers really fast and then go and get another one and then just hold that one and be like.
And Sarah takes her cup and she just sort of sits a little shaken in the room.
I think we'll all get along quite well, she says.
So, now that you know something about us, tell us something about you.
Well, what do you want to know?
Well, where do you come from? What's your deal?
Family's from Moscow? At least, that's where we left whenever I joined. And I like flying. That's what you need. You need someone to pilot, right? I got you.
So do you know why she pulled you out of your former unit? What happened back there?
Let's just put it this way. Your crashing is probably a similar story to what we have going on. Idiots. I don't even know how they got in. I had to stand in his office for days and days before he let me in. And they let these idiots come in here and try to fly planes? And then look, we already don't have enough planes as is. And now they're letting idiots pilot them and crash them.
Wait till she
I see you haven't met
Anastasia.
our additional member.
Additional member?
Whose trunk this is.
She can't
Referring
die.
to Anastasia.
Oh, you have another person.
And Sarah goes, yeah, in the corner.
Ah, princess?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not all bad.
Yeah.
Lena
Sarah
pulls
goes,
out the box of chocolates. There's just a few left. She brought these.
And it is a box of chocolate from France. It's actual, real chocolate.
Irina walks over and she just smells them and she's like, oh my gosh, you guys have all of the things. The best thing that we had was, never mind, you don't want to know.
And also, Irina, on the table, there's a little Victrola record player. They've got some, and they've got in the corner some supplies. They seem to have some stuff going on here.
Yeah, okay.
Well, after everything that's happened, hopefully the three of you will get your things back. Hopefully we won't have any more unexpected visits, at least for a while. But in the meantime...
where should I bunk?
Tanya looks around and very hopefully gestures toward Anastasia's bed.
She just goes over and she throws this bag that she's just carrying that has what little things that she has and just tosses it onto the bed. Is there anything else in this bed? Does it look like it belongs to someone else?
It does. See, you're in this. You're on this bunk. It's this bottom bunk, and when you sit on it, you feel something underneath the covers that you sit on, something that stiff.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess so. Well, whatever they're doing, I sit on the bed and and I look under just check what it is.
And there's a magazine that's Soviet heroes of the air, and there are all these amazing propaganda photos of all these different pilots, and there's one pilot that's got little hearts around it, drawn in by someone, and it's Anastasia plus Yuri, and then when you go through this, it's clearly that somebody named Anastasia has picked out all the really good looking flyers and is daydreaming with them. Yeah.
Yeah, you just see Irina looking through something. I guess you probably don't see the front part, but you see the back part, and she just like has this huge grin on her face.
Lena's gonna like lean over to Tatya and be like, is she not coming back?
I wouldn't worry about that right now.
I just want you to know something, just so you can think about this. We're in the moment where you can do your day moves, which can allow you to get some, some more mission pool. Or for some people, I'm not going to name names, but Titania Petrova might be able to reach out and get some healing. But also, you have a damaged plane. So there's a damaged plane that needs to be repaired. There's some maybe reaching out that needs to happen. Those are some things you have going on for you.
I need to reach out to I need to reach out and touch everyone. I would like to reach out. I would like to reach out to Lena, since I have this newfound admiration that I priorly did not have.
Mm-hmm. And in order to reach out, you must reveal a significant new truth. So in this next conversation, as it goes on, just be aware that you must reveal a significant new truth about yourself.
All right.
And and to set the scene, you're in this barracks. It's evening now. You've got the space heater that's going. You've got some bits of dresses sort of on the corner of this steam trunk. There's this cheap vodka that is flowing in these tin cups. It's a little bit warm. Victrola's off. There's a kind of a slightly weird tension. Sarah's still stressed out by her book of poetry. Polia is actually just drinking vodka and feeling pretty fine. And she's got her foot up, she's got her foot up on the table and she's drinking and she's just like, she's all right. And it's just like the scene you have, and you have this new person sitting on Anastasia's bed, flipping through this pictorial magazine that is full of like little daydreams and doodles of romance.
So, Lena, where are you in the room?
I think Lena, because we would have poured over by the little table, so I think that she would just have sat down there, and she would, now she's sipping on her second, no, I think it's third at this point, because I think I finished it a second ago. So she's sipping on her third vodka, and finally starting to look calmer. She's got a little bit more color in her face. Her hands have stopped shaking so bad, she's just sitting there, trying to be stoic. It doesn't work.
Can I propose that as you just finished your second, as you're reaching, Titania grabs the bottle and pours you a third.
Thanks.
So, how are you after everything that happened earlier?
I'm feeling pretty embarrassed. I mean, I'm usually pretty good at navigating and getting places, and I mucked it up. And then I hit your plane. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I actually was pretty impressed by what I saw from you back there.
Really?
I wasn't able to land my plane after what happened, and you came out practically unscathed, and you managed to not totally send your plane down into a fiery inferno.
Well, the 42's a pretty good yoke on it, And even with the damage that it took, it was able to really just manage the wind nicely.
So you're pretty experienced with planes like this, yes?
Yeah. I mean, they're basically all that I flew. It's kind of what we had in agricultural school, crop dusters.
Well, I will admit, on first meeting you did not think that you were going to be quite as experienced as it turns out you are, and it seems that you have more experience and talent in this than I do.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I was real impressed that you pulled Anastasia out. I know you don't like her. I mean, you're pretty transparent about that on a regular basis.
Well, regardless of what my personal feelings toward her may be, she is one of the people under my command, and I would not leave any of you. Would it be fair, side note, Fox is asking, would it be fair as a sharing something statement to be that I've never flown anything remotely like that and I have no idea like, that it is a foreign concept to me, the older planes that we're working with? Or is that...
I feel like that makes you seem vulnerable, and we can get some drama out of that, then yes.
All right. So, Titania continues. I will admit that these planes are a little beyond my knowledge. And I was wondering, Lena, if you would be interested in teaching me a little bit more about how they work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was gonna go and fix it and see, I was gonna say hello to Krimyavia and fix it, and I could show you then when we get there. There's a particular way. If you hold the yoke just to a little bit below where you think you need to, then you get more control than you think you might have the other way. Yeah. Yeah.
I would really appreciate it.
Will you roll a 2d6 for me? And you get the +1 because you have regard for Lena.
Yeah, regard.
She can't die, though.
Please don't die when you're fixing the plane.
Mm.
Oh, no.
No promises. Lena is a little cray-cray when she gets in planes.
So,
Well,
Uh-oh.
Lena, I need you
Titania
to...
rolled a 6, which for anyone who doesn't recall is a fail.
Yes. So, I want you to think about this for a moment. Titania has just revealed something to you, something new. And you, what it says here is that these efforts are ineffective, misunderstood, or understood all too clearly. I would like you to tell me how you misunderstand her reaching out to you. How this does not go so well for her long run.
I think that Lena misunderstands it as I don't know how to fly a plane rather than I don't know how to fly this specific plane. So it means that like Lena is probably gonna give her like the basic of the basic tips, not the ones that are useful for someone who has a full extent and knowledge of how to fly. It would be like, oh, you hold the yoke. Like, it's not the best because she's trying to reach her at her level.
Oh.
Sad days.
Sad days.
And also, in case anybody asks, Lena, you know that your section commander has no experience flying.
Lena has so many secrets. Like, she picked up the one about their mechanic. Like, she's a treasure trove.
You're a treasure trove. Now, Irina, you also have a space to sort of... No, that was I just want to point out that was a totally failed move. So our... and you can... When you're looking at Tatiana, if anyone is looking at her leg is messed up. She does not look so great. She's, she's gone through a terrible plane crash and fire. So she's not looking in the best of health. Just to know.
Oh, so do you want to heal at all?
You do not heal, my friend.
Oh, that's rough.
That failed reach out means there is no healing for you. Now, someone can reach out to you, and maybe they can then get you a heal.
I'm over here, anybody?
But one of you two would have to do it. And I don't know. Maybe Irina wants to reach out. I don't know. I'm not saying. It's unclear to me.
I think after Irina gets done looking through all the magazines, she is gonna just start unpacking her stuff as well.
How much stuff do you have?
I don't think she has a ton. She probably just has some civvy clothes, and then she has like parchment and some writing utensils and envelopes or things of that sort.
When you're trying to unpack, I just want you to note that the wall locker that would be yours is completely full. with expensive looking dresses and numbers of shoes, civilian shoes with heels, lots of magazines. There's a lot of crap in this wall locker. A lot of crap in this wall locker.
Okay. So I open up the wall locker and I'm like, is this supposed to be mine?
Elena's like, boop.
Just take the dresses and put them in this trunk over here. I'll help. Starts like grabbing the dresses and.
Oh God, this is gonna cause so much drama. I love it. Yeah, I open the trunk and she just goes for it and does it. And as I'm doing so, and since Titania, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Is helping me. I just kind of start talking to her because my character doesn't ever shut up. She's just like, so, what about you? You gonna tell me anything about who you are, where you came from? As she's moving stuff.
Yeah, I am from Leningrad. I managed to get out before everything went sour there. My parents are still there, however. There's really not much else to tell other than that.
Do you keep in touch with them? I feel like my parents never stop writing me.
No, I haven't. I haven't heard from them since university.
Oh.
And just a side note, one thing that you will know, Irina, at this point in time, Leningrad is under siege by the Nazis. They have surrounded Leningrad, and people who got out early were able to get out, which was great. But otherwise, people are stuck in there, and people are starving, and they've run out of food. And it's been a really long time that this place has been surrounded. So it's like a fairly intense thing that people who are from Leningrad, like, you don't know if their families are alive still. It's
Okay,
not
cool. Yes, you actually see her get serious for once. Like, she's been like kind of like, wow, this whole entire time. But she kind of looks at you and says, well, hopefully we can help them. That's what we're here for, right?
It is, and I am very confident that we'll be able to, especially with an accomplished new airwoman in our unit. I think things should go much better from here on.
She like winks at you and then keeps pulling stuff in. She's like, I have a family too. Mine's a little crazy though. 5 brothers and a sister. It gets a little nuts.
You must get a lot of mail then.
Well, not all of them, right? But some of them do.
Are you close with all of your brothers and sisters?
Wouldn't say close with all of them. My sister, probably the most. I mean, 2 girls of 7 children. I mean, she's much more girly than me, though. I think she'd probably like these. And she kind of holds up one of the dresses.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if one ended up with you, no one would notice. So Tanya takes a drink.
She's like, are you serious?
Better put it in the steamer trunk for now, but who knows what the future may hold in these times.
Right. She puts it in there and she's like, who do these belong to anyway?
The reason why my leg looks like this.
Sorry.
That's fine. She's fine too, if you're curious.
Oh.
Just moping. Titania takes
He
another
kind of looks at you
very
confused.
long drink.
Yeah, and the whole time you're taking your drink, she just looks at you confusedly.
Moping was accurate, by the way.
At this point, Tania's gonna look over at Sarah because she still looks how she looks and just pretty much ask how she's doing.
Before that happens, I need Irena to make her reach out roll, which is a 2d6.
Sure.
Yes.
Because that new truth is about the closeness in your relationship with your sister.
Fail. I got a 2.
No.
Okay. Tell me, Titania, how this reach out that she's making towards you does not work out well
I
enough.
have a feeling of how it already did. Because she's like, her family's like trapped. And I'm like, I got a whole bunch of people. I'm terrible.
And it's great. Like, we have this wonderful relationship. It's awesome. How about your family? Oh.
Oh, well, that's too bad, I guess. Hey, can I have one of these dresses?
So you tell me how Titania does not respond well to that reach out.
She kind of just leaves the conversation. At that point is when she kind of is like, Sarah, how are you doing?
So you're a little shut down, Irina. You know it. And Sarah looks up and she says, I live like a cuckoo in the clock, not begrudging birds in the woods. If they wind me up, I sing. You know my fate is such. Only upon an enemy could I wish this thing.
I hate riddles. And she just keeps putting stuff in the trunk.
It was a poem by Anna Akhmatova.
I don't know who that is. She keeps putting stuff in the trunk.
She was one of the greatest acmeist poets from the teens. Like, her depth of feeling.
Tanya kind of cuts us off. She puts a hand on her shoulder. She's like, I know that they took your book of poetry. Are you worried?
Yes. Some of the, I have poems from some of the artists from Leningrad who were in the places we would go, and some of whom have been arrested.
Well, try not to worry too much. I think that our command is going to be able to retrieve that, and you won't have anything to worry about. Plus, you'll be able to have your book of poetry back. Reminder from home?
Yeah.
Can this be a reach out? Can I share something?
Yeah, if you want to, you can.
I'm going to be reaching out to everybody.
But your reaching out is going to take time, so it's going to stress you out. So you're not going to be able to do some other things.
My leg is stressing me out.
That is fair.
She's like, I'm going to attempt to reach out to everyone I can.
Either that or my leg is going to have to come off. I don't know what's going to happen here.
It seems like an appropriate like Russian response. Like,
It
we're going to
does.
fix this, or that's it.
And so you can tell she's looking a little blue, right? And you can think of these places like the Wet Dog, that cafe, and like you think about all the sort of political firebrands and the people, like you know that scene because you were there and you remember all those poets and the artists and what it was like when Leningrad was still this sort of bustling city before, right, it was attacked.
Well, so you know, I did have some connections with all sorts of poets back home. And if you aren't able to get your book of poetry back, I can see what I can do to help replace some of those poems for you.
Really?
Well, we have to stick together, those of us away from home.
Yeah. And she kind of looks over at Rena, who was clearly not sensitive to the difficulties of people who are from Leningrad, like these two are. And she just kind of gives you a slightly dirty look. And then she comes back to Titania and she says,
I feel like Irina doesn't notice.
No, she doesn't.
I can just see Irina like holding up more dresses, like.
Yeah, she's just like, who wants to wear this stuff?
And it's the thing is, it's stylish but garish. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is stylish for someone who maybe,
Like,
you know, when
frills.
yeah, you know, when you are maybe not completely mature and you want like a mature and stylish outfit, and that might involve way too much lip gloss and some poor choices about taste level because you're excited. These are like that. These are like,
Yeah, Irina's just not a girly girl to begin with, so they're like weird concepts to her anyway.
and they are, yeah. And of course it's also weird because we're in Soviet Russia. So these things are like, most people don't have these things, right? So it's a little like this whole abundance of girly girl frilly dresses is a little bit weird. And you're
I
like,
imagine
oh,
a wearable wedding cake.
yes, it's a wearable wedding.
A wearable wedding cake. Oh goodness.
Oh, I really want to see a picture of this, chat.
Wait. Artists, wearable wedding cake.
Make it real. Make the dream real.
Make the dream real. I need a reach out roll for you. And she
All
says,
It's my time to shine.
Bonding over hating Arena for being insensitive.
Really regular 2d6.
yes, but we're bonding over liking sort of seditious poets.
I'm gonna change my dye color real quick.
Please do.
I heard that the Fates may look kindly upon that.
It is possible, yes.
Let's see how they feel about blue. Oh, they don't like it.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, every
why? Why?
I liked that leg. That was one of my favorite legs.
And she thinks about it and she says, but if we have the poems but we don't have the poets, does it even matter?
Perhaps not. Titania's gonna go to her bunk now and lay down.
That was a good line. Dang.
Yeah. And I think our last scene before our break will have to be Lena looking for that to fix her plane, the 42, yes?
Yeah, so I think Lena would, after Tatiana clearly goes to like lie down, Lena would say like one last thing over her shoulder, and now I'm really wishing that I had remembered more plain terms, but here we go. Something to the effect of like, remember, put the flaps down when you're trying to land, and then she'll be out the door and the door will close.
Oh,
I think it's the flaps down, but I can't remember.
It's just like, what? And then she's putting her own stuff in the locker.
Lena, you make it to the hangars. And when you sort of come into the hangars, it is, most people are now off, right? But the hangars are not off. There's been a destroyed plane. So they're madly working to assemble the reserve plane so that it can be ready for the fight. And you see, and it's an interesting space. You might be, it's one of these moments where, you know, Titania, she went to college. She's a university sort of person. You've got a lot of different folks. And in this space, you see a bunch of these sort of roughneck young women. They're privates, right? You outrank them, of course. And they are working hard. They're sort of packing things up, trying to make sure everything is ready. But there's also clearly a kind of a messed up there's a weird tone in the space. And as you see Mel Kamenova, who's right, she's tall, she's broad, she's sort of this handsome woman with kind of like curly brown hair. And she's trying to assemble this plane. She's working on it. And you can see 42, which is damaged still. But also, one of the things that the privates are doing is that the planes have graffiti on them. And they've been graffitied with like, hey, skirts, go home. And they're painting over it, trying to get rid of this graffiti and make sure that the planes are acceptable for you all when you fly. And so there's like a bit of like a frustration, and there was this big crash, so people are a little bit stressed out in this moment where and there's clearly way too much to do and not enough of them to do all the work that has to happen.
So I think as soon as like Lena walks in and she sees all of this, I assume 42 is also graffitied.
Yeah.
She, like, contrary to how she handles interpersonal stress, when she sees her plane looking like this, she looks furious, and she grabs the paint can and she walks over and she starts slapping on paint onto the 42 to get rid of the graffiti. And just for the audience, what's going through her mind is like what she's going to do to that squadron. She's pissed. And her first thought is like, I wonder if I can get Tatiana to help and Nick to shank them. Like, she's so mad. And I think that she's just going to paint until like Mel or someone makes it over to like start essentially until it's clean, and then she'll start repairs. But first, there isn't going to be any of that bullshit on the 42.
And as you're painting, Mel notices you because you just walked in and you start doing this, and she's like, pardon me, you're, thank you. So I was thinking maybe the Frozen Clipper has a nickname. What do you think?
Seems an homage to a terrible thing that I did.
But seems like you can turn it around. Like it could be a good luck name.
Yeah. Like I could clip the Nazis. And she's just like furiously painting this whole time. And she's like, "Hi, I'm Lena. What's your name?"
Sergeant Mel Kamenova. I'm in charge of all of your planes.
Click, 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 click. Oh! I
For
hear
the
you're a really
audience,
good pilot.
this is the person that people have, that Lena heard gossip about that might be actually a lesbian.
So I think the part that stuck for Lena, though, was the part of, like, used to be a mechanic, is now a pilot. And she knows why, but she's
Used
like...
to be a pilot, now mechanic.
Yeah, yeah. So she's... So that's all she says, is it's like, she, like, freeze... Look at Mel. I hear you used to be a really good pilot.
Where did you hear that?
Nowhere.
Where did you hear that?
On a plane.
Where? Which plane?
Lena's like starts to sweat so bad that she drops the paintbrush. Because now it's an interpersonal thing, and she doesn't do that so well. So
Picks up the
so she,
brush
like,
and she hands it to you.
Thank you. I wasn't supposed to hear it. Anyway, I think it's a shame. And I'm glad that you're fixing the planes. And I want to help. I want 42. I want Clipper back in the air.
Okay. Gossip is dangerous.
I'm not. I haven't told. I only told one person. I cannot tell anybody else. I can just tell people that you're a good mechanic. I don't have to say anything. I don't even have to say anything at all. I can say nothing. I'm really good at saying nothing. Sometimes I say nothing at all for really long periods of time.
Not this time and this moment, though.
No.
No. You landed the plane really well. That was impressive.
Thanks.
Not many pilots could do that.
I've been flying for a really long time. And well, honestly, Clipper here just, it really, it's like it knew. It knew that it needed to nose right in. It knew right when I needed to lift up, and it basically just told me. It was like, it was there, all I have to do is listen.
She pats the plane. She says, "Yeah, I miss that."
I'm sorry.
Me too. Come on, I'll help you.
Thanks.
I need a repair roll from you.
Okay.
That's skill.
Boop-a-doop. Oh, I gotta click my logo.
Hmm?
Doop-doop.
Roll well. Oh! Okay. Partial
It's
success.
not a fail. It's
Wait.
a partial.
Wait a minute. Don't you have regard for your plane?
I do. Oh, I have regard for my plane. It's a success now.
That is a full success. So, this is what happens. The plane is completely fixed. You spent the rest of the night fixing that plane, and it is perfect. But something's interesting. While you're repairing it, you do notice that there was graffiti, but somebody also messed with the yoke a little bit. So it's like nothing super bad, right? It wasn't like this is going to cause the plane to crash, but would just make it difficult and awkward.
I think that when Lena sees this, she doesn't recognize exactly what it, like she knows something's off, so she asks Mel, like, is this going to make it more difficult for me to lower the flaps?
And Mel comes in and she says, "Oh, that's not right.
No, it's not.
I adjusted that this morning. Somebody's..."
If they did it to the 42, I'm sure they did it to the other planes.
You're right. Well,
Mel, I'm going to get a group of people to teach them a lesson. Are you in?
hell yeah.
I'm not good at this. So it's gonna be people who are good at this. You've gotta be good at this.
Oh, I'm good at this. And she cracks her knuckles.
Lena
But-
tries to crack her knuckles, but they don't really crack. Like, one of them cracks because she tries to do it the same way.
She says, but you're going to need to get some rest before your next flight. I'll finish up here. Lena, right?
Yeah. I remember your name. It's Mel.
Right, it's short for Marx, Engels, Lenin.
That's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that's very... you.
Thanks. So, go fly, take care of your section, and when you come back, we'll bring some people. We'll go visit the 218th.
One of them has a knife. And then Lena hops out of the plane.
And that is where we're going to go and take our break before the next mission. So, oh my gosh. First off, hey everybody, how are you doing? So excited. We have some donations to read out. Let me get them on the Streamlabs. Thanks everyone who's been hanging out. I'm so excited. This is, by the way, our Seed and Spark campaign. I want to say all the things, but I'm going to read the donations first. What do we have here? We have 2 donations. We have one from Vera Pavlova fan. Ooh. It is a poem. We have more than one poet in our unit.
Ooh.
The fire melts in the west, dying into darkness. Shadow claims the skies, the witching hour. Terror rises, soaring retribution, until the phoenix returns in the east. Fear and death plummet from the witches. Bring them panic. Go, fly, bomb Nazis.
Yeah.
And we have one more $5 donation from Dunya Rostova, who may be one of my players in another Night Witches game. We will see. And this one is, beautiful as the sea in the storm dark, glorious in the sky even without its blue. But trust me, on the rock the maid excels both wave and sky and storm. And that is from The Storm Maid by Alexander Pushkin. Oh, I see you, audience. I see how this is. We're going to have all of the Russian poetry all the time in this game. I can tell. It's fine. Thank you so much for those donations. It is wonderful. Our cast is going to take a break. We're going to stretch our legs. We're going to drink some water. We're going to hydrate. You should do the same. And come back in about 10 minutes, and we are going to find out how our Night Witches deal with their first nighttime training mission, led by the famous Marina Roskova herself. So, have a good break. We will see you in 10. Hello, welcome back to the second half of episode 2 of Night Witches, Toil and Trouble. Episode title, Don't Turn Around, the Politruk's in Town. For no reason. There's no reason why that's the title. It's fine.
That's my journal.
And I do want to know what's in that journal.
I was like, I want to know what's in it.
I know.
Apparently everyone's secrets.
Ugh.
Sorry, was that an evil laugh? Oh. I mean, oh, interesting. Journal taken. Huh. So, welcome back to the second half. This is Night Witches, Toil, and Trouble. So happy to have you here. We're here on the Geek Space TV in the middle of our half marathon Seed and Spark Palooza stream. I feel like that's Seed and Spark Palooza stream. Jazz hands. So we're in the middle of a fundraising drive, like old PBS phone drives, telethons, but back in the day, but now for the new era. We are a nonprofit streaming studio based out of Seattle, whose mission is about increasing diversity and representation in geek and gaming spaces, not only in terms of our cast and not only in terms of the stories that we tell, but also the creators and also our community. So having a nice, great space in multiple levels, and it's a really valuable and wonderful thing that I am appreciative of. It's a wonderful community of great people, and we rely on donations from you all to help us do all of this work. So if you would like to, please go and give a donate for the Seed and Spark, which is going to fund our next season. And our season's about three and some months. And if we are successful in our Seed and Spark, then there will be no weekly goals on our donation goals at all. This will fully fund everything for the next 4 months or so. And that's a great thing. We have a number of shows that we're looking forward to do. Another season of Worlds Beyond. I'm going to see if I can do this off the top of my head. Another season of Worlds Beyond. We'll be looking at an interview show. We have an art show coming up. We will be doing the follow-up to Night Witches, which will be about the French Resistance, which will be very exciting. And who knows? And maybe also Ryutama by Drunkly Romantic. So there are a lot of wonderful things that are cooking. So please go to the Seed and Spark and donate something if you like. Anything if you like, $5 is good too. Other than that, share, tell people about us, get people to come in to see the shows, be here, tweet about us, go get graffiti and put graffiti in the Louvre saying that we're here and that they should watch. No, don't do that one. Don't do that's probably a bad one to do. Don't do that one.
But maybe hand out little business cards that just say
Twitch, Geek Space. Yeah, do that one instead. So don't do graffiti in the Louvre. Don't be like the flyers, the 218th graffitiing things. Don't do it. Nobody likes it.
But please let us have French Resistance.
So good. We'll have, if I had my way, music from the 30s would be in the public domain. We'd be playing a lot of great music from the 1930s and early 40s, but we have to wait another 20 years. It's fine. Wah, wah. So we have got our crew together, and including our new member, Irina Alberg, who was brought in because one of their members, Nikita Volkova, has been taken away by the secret police for some conversations about not acceptable performance in the field. And they need some people who have passed some of the tests so they can all qualify. And they've all done their business, and they're ready to go on their next mission. And our section leader is going to gather the troops to tell them about the very next mission they're doing. And they have one mission pool.
All right, ladies. I'm sure that you all remember what happened last time. So this upcoming...
Oh, wait, by the way, Anastasia's there.
Is Anastasia sitting next to Lena?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And she looks, she's got a bandage on her head. It's very dramatically placed. Go on.
So I'm sure that all of you, Titania shoots a glance at Anastasia. Remember what happened on this previous training exercise. However, we have gotten that behind us now. So prepare yourselves, because the exercise for tonight is going to be that we are going to be flying under Marina Roskova herself. And I know this is going to be very exciting for everyone. We are going to be flying on an exercise where we are going to be targeting either side of the banks of the Tisna River. It's a river. Which one?
Sna.
Sna River. that are going to be replicating sides of a bridge. So I know that we are all very excited, and I know that we are all very competent and capable airwomen. And so I look forward to us doing a very successful evening. Glance at Anastasia again. For this flight, does anyone have any questions?
Anastasia raises her hand.
Lena
Does
puts
anyone
it
else have
down.
any questions? Yes, Anastasia.
No, because Lena put her hand down. So the hand was put
All right.
down.
Oh, I think the way Lena would have done it though is like she would have like held her hand, like, oh, we're just holding hands, like.
Now, I just want you all to know that right now, at the moment, we're seeing an image. The audience, as well as the players, are seeing an image of Marina Raskova, the great flyer, who was a hero of the Soviet Union, got like the highest medal, and who, without whom there would be no Night Witches, because she was the one who personally entreated on Stalin to create these women's regiments. And it was because of her sort of fame and her bravery that convinced him to make these regiments. And it is she, the Marina Raskova, who's going to oversee them, our Night Witches, in this mission. And I wanted you all to see a picture of her.
So, does anyone have any questions? Great.
When I see Lena pull the other girl's hand down, then I don't say anything.
Wonderful.
And
Well-
by the way, for you, Irina, Anastasia, who's come in, she's wearing this like sort of dramatically placed bandage, and she is, she's like a dark blonde, and her hair's cut because everyone had to have their hair cut, so her hair's cut, but it's as long as it could be, and she's got a lot of poise, right? She's sort of got a kind of she's a little bit elongated. She looks like she's had a lot of some kind of, I don't know, like balancing the book on your head sort of training, probably that sort of thing. And she is young looking, and she sometimes wanders. Like when people, for example, when Titania is giving the mission briefing about the mission they're going to do right now, when everyone's paying attention, she's sometimes doing this. And just, sliding off into her own thoughts. It's the thing that she does. Yeah. Go on. I turn it back over to you, section leader.
So, I know we're all extremely excited to fly under the great Marina Raskova herself, and this is really an opportunity for us to put what happened before behind us and really hone ourselves to be the airwoman that everyone knows that we can be and that everyone else is so afraid that we can be. So, that being the case, so the reserve aircraft, should I number it?
Yes, we need a new number for the reserved aircraft.
Our reserve aircraft number is going to be, where's my text box? There it is. Is going to be number, oh, it's gone. Is going to be number 80, no, that one didn't go well. Let's do 13.
Lucky 13.
Lucky 13. All right, so ladies,
I don't
We
think anyone has
are-
ever said that.
They should.
and then quick GM question. So everyone has to be in the opposite roles since we all have to qualify for both, or since
Yes.
we didn't qualify. Does it?
Well, you and Lena both qualified on your attack run because you did actually have partial successes on your attack runs.
Okay.
So you qualified attacking. You two need to qualify for navigation. And Irina has already qualified navigation, so she needs to qualify on attacking.
Okay. That being the case, Lena, since you did so well, I'm going to put you as navigator for the 42. And I am going to have you flying with, let's see, I can't move any of these personnel.
Oh, yeah, use the name, move the names that are actually on the planes.
Okay. Lena, I'm going to have you fly with... No, I wouldn't want to do that to you. We're going to have you fly
Thank you.
with... let's see. Nick's not here. Wait, so...
I don't think I'm on there.
You should add her. You can just put her in there if you like.
Yeah, let me do that. I'm going to have you fly with Irina.
Ooh.
So,
Lena like nods at Irina. She looks thrilled beyond belief. She looks resolute. She also is not able to say anything right now.
and then, let's see, was Polina...
She was
Please
pilot last
fly.
time.
She was piloting last time? All right, so I am going to have, let's see,
And Sarah was navigating,
right.
as was Anastasia.
Anastasia is going to be flying the 84,
Mhm.
and Polina is going to be navigating.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have Sarah fly the 13,
Mm-hmm.
and I will be navigating that one. See, my name is gone. It's gone forever. Wait, nope, there we are.
You can make a new one.
All right. Does anyone have any questions on the orders of where everyone's going?
Lena has continued to hold on to Anastasia's hand.
You can tell that Anastasia wants to raise her hand, but she clearly doesn't.
She doesn't want to lose this moment of best friend bonding.
That's right. It's best.
It's too important. All right. Then in that case, we will have...
Then Anastasia says to you, Lena, can I say something?
Does she say
Please?
to me or to...
Yes. She
Oh.
says it to Lena.
And Lena's like,
So moving on, we are going to have, and man, is it bad to have the lead pilot and navigator in the same plane, or is that?
Not necessarily.
That's what we're gonna do. I don't trust myself. So we are going to have the lead pilot as Irina. We're gonna see how you can do on this, and since you did a wonderful job last time, Lena, we're going to have you as the lead navigator.
And that would make you, Veromaya, the wing woman.
I know, but my roles are so trash right now.
It's fine, but you're the wing woman.
I'm the wing woman,
mean,
that's
I
me.
rolled a
I've got you
2.
guys back. All
Really
right,
here?
let us show them what this unit is capable of doing.
And off you go to the flight line. And there on the flight line, you have your 3 planes all set up. And Lena and Irina, you go to your plane, 42, and you notice that, and you know, I would say, Titania, you might also notice this, that there is a little bit of a drawing where it says like the Clipper, like a little painting on the tail. Now, I would say that Mel's artistic skills are not that great, so it's not so perfect, but it's sort of put in there like with some care and some love. Titania, you as an artist could do a much better job, but you can tell that somebody was trying, but they don't have the steady hand, right, of an artist who's practiced, who can paint in that way. But
I
somebody
can appreciate the effort, though. I'm not a monster.
I guess as we're walking in the plane, I like put my arm around Lena because I think she's smaller than me or whatever, and I'm like, well, I guess it's just you and me, buddy. So I guess we're leading.
yeah. I'm ready for this. I'm ready. I am so ready for this.
Are you really?
As your squad leader, I thoroughly believe in the both of you.
Oh, this is while we're walking to the plane.
I still thoroughly believe in both of you.
Okay. And I guess as we get up to the plane, I'll notice that I'm like, Clipper.
It's going to be very important. Look, this is a good plane, and I need you to treat it really well. You've got to understand, it's been through a lot. But if you trust it and you understand what it's trying to tell you and you just listen, then it won't guide you wrong. You'll be able to land. You'll know. Lena, like, rests her hand on the design, and she's just like, it won't betray you if you don't betray it.
Irina's looking at Lena like, oh my goodness. And then she puts her hand on top of Lena's hand. And actually this time she's more gentle, like whereas she's been kind of like rough and tough before. And she's like, I'll treat her the best I can.
Lena looks like a little bit relieved, and she's like, thanks.
But a girl's got to have fun too. And she hops in.
Lena's gonna like kiss the design for like luck or sentiment, or it's hard to really tell. And then she's like, you've got this, to the plane. And then she like climbs in behind and gets the little tube and everything, and like starts buckling and strapping and everything in.
And Polly, she passes by you, Titania, and she says, as she's like, she moves a little bit faster than Anastasia, because Anastasia sort of wanders a little bit. And Anastasia often sort of like walks on her toes. And so, she's just doing her thing. And Polly sort of like comes by you and she's like, thanks for the princess.
To which Titania responds, you're the only one, I think, that could handle this. And you're the only one who possibly has ever had enough vodka to handle this.
She's like, fair. And, and Polina gets in the plane, and Anastasia, like, she rushes up to you, and she's like, wait. And she comes up to you, Titania.
Yes.
I wanted to tell you something.
Go on.
After you left, I stayed in the medical tent for a bit because I had to rest. I was very upset. But then I went to see my sister, but she wasn't in. I don't know where she was. But anyway, and she reaches into like her pocket, and she pulls out this little bottle of vodka. It's not super big, but it is like the best vodka. It's like the highest class of vodka. And she says, it's not a lot, but I promised you that I would get good vodka, and then we can be best friends. And I'm sorry. And then she hands you the bottle of vodka.
At this point, Titania, despite herself, she softens at this, and she gives her, a soft actual smile, and takes it. Thank you. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just focus on what's ahead, and we can all share this together when we get back and have a successful mission.
Okay. And she takes out the photograph of like the most handsome flyer, and she puts it on her little cockpit, and then she climbs into the plane.
Oh,
and Sarah's
my God,
like,
of course she does.
Of course she does. And Sarah walks up. She's like, all right, all Leningrad. We can do it.
We can.
She climbs in. And there's Mel with her broad shoulders. And she, sets off the propellers for each one. And then all the mechanic armorers pull in these bombs, these live bombs, and start attaching them to your planes. And Mel says, remember, if you don't drop all of the bombs, you can't land, because they might go off on landing, so you'll just have to drop them on an empty field. I was looking at the maps. I think there's one to the north. You all have this. To sea! And she backs off as you all go off into the night. So, you have a live bombing run on targets arranged on either bank of the Tsna River, and it's sort of simulating a bridge. So this is your big practice. And as you're going off, you can see Marina Raskova's plane. And she's got her sort of squadron, and she's got sort of lights on. And you can see her, and she flies off in front of all of you. And it's sort of amazing. And she, like her, right? That's Marina Raskova. And she flies off to sort of because it's not just your section, it's a number of sections that are going, and she sort of flies off to sort of start this whole thing. And as you go off into the night, the weather is not great. Like, it is cold. It begins to do some kind of frozen rain is happening, and it's hard to tell the difference between the sky and the ground. And you have no lights. When you go off, you have to just sort of think, okay, remember your maps. You've got to sort of think, okay, this is what the maps looked like. You can't look at maps now because you have no lights in your plane. And you've got to sort of think, okay, there's a little road here that I think that was one of the waypoints. And you've got to do this, 1,000 feet up in the air in the middle of the sleet and icy rain to try to find this simulated bridge. Our lead navigator needs to make a wayfinding roll.
All right, which direction are we going?
Roll skill, my lead navigator.
Oh, I keep trying to roll it without clicking my icon. Super
And you
good
get-
at this. And I get a +1 for regard.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Yes, you do.
Woot.
Oh, yay, it's a success.
Nice.
It's a full success.
Yay.
Okay, I can actually look now. That's good.
Tell me about it. Tell me
Um,
about this.
So I think Lena is like, these are bad conditions, but she's not unfamiliar with really bad flying conditions. She flew every time she possibly can, and it's Russia. The weather is frequently awful in the winter and in the autumn time period, and so she's used to this. So she feels the ice on her face. She feels her fingers numbing up. But in spite of all of it, she knows where north is. She knows where they're headed. She just relies on the instincts of her internal compass, and instead of trying to look down and see what's below the plane, she's like, nope, now we go 3 degrees north.
3 degrees north then.
And Irina, she takes you beautifully right to where you need to go. And you see these targets laid up on the other side of the river, just like simulating a bridge. And she has given you the best sort of run up to this target.
Yeah, I see them on the ridge, and I'm like, that was perfect. I see your targets. Are you ready?
Yeah. Here
we go. She's just going for it then.
Roll guts.
Okay, I'm waiting for me to fail at my guts roll, because earlier I rolled a 13, so I'm scared. Oh yes! That is so good.
Okay. Now, having done a completely successful attack run, this is Night Witches, so you must still take 1 negative consequence, but only 1.
Yay!
Choose.
Oh.
You choose. The damage to your target is not significant, and it is your fault. You fly through a storm through enemy, basically enemy flak, this is enemy fire, and I do not recommend that one if you could all avoid it. A plane in your section is damaged, and I get to choose which one. Or you and your fellow airwoman are marked.
Oh, that's hard.
And I believe, since none of you are marked at all yet, you do have a positive mark you can take.
How do marks work exactly? So
Marks.
I think
are
I might take that just for the funsies.
Oh, you should take it. You should take the marks. They're great.
Yeah.
So marks, so you have the normal sort of hit points, which is harm, 0 through 4. When you hit 4, you die. But you can heal from harm by resting up, by reaching out. So that's...
Ooh, you can get a mark, give your aircraft a personality. Can we do that
Yes.
one?
Yeah,
That's
you can do-
perfect for this. I think that's so perfect for this. That's
you're
what I'm
picking
picking.
marks. Yes.
Yeah.
So you each have 12 marks. And once you hit the 12th one, the last one is you die. You embrace death, your final fate. But all the other ones are some kind of interesting story thing. It's a form of it's a hit point tally that you can never heal. And it represents the ways in which war affects you. And so you get to pick, each one of you gets to pick a mark. And I will ask you, since it's happening right now, which marks do you pick?
I mean, that's the one I was thinking.
Irina's
but-
going to take
Okay.
that her plane is a personality. What is that personality?
I'll think on it for a little bit.
Let me know. Let me know.
Yeah.
And what about you, Lena?
I was also thinking of giving the plane a personality. Can I have, like, do we need to unite on what the personality is since it's the same plane? Or is it our perception of what the plane's personality is?
You can also give a different plane a person. Well, that's your aircraft.
Huh?
It's your aircraft. I think that you should save that one and take a different one.
You can take the give your aircraft a personality. That actually fits perfectly because you've like named it. I think you could take that one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I'll tell a story of home then. I'll do that one.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
So when we get down, you should tell us a story of home.
Okay.
Excellent. And do you have an idea what personality you want the Clipper to have?
The Clipper is sassy. It's a real sassy little plane.
I think that's true about it. I've heard that about that plane. That is true.
Yeah, and actually, as we do our bomb run, I kind of like slap the top of it or like the area, and I'm like, Clipper, you're doing me good.
I want you to tell me, Maggie. Tell me about this bombing run. Tell me how it goes.
Oh man, we see our targets perfectly because Lena's amazing and gets us the directions. It's like pretty dark, so we probably can't see that well. And I kind of just go off what she says. Like, I can't see where I'm going. I'm going off just her directions, and we like blindly go in, drop them perfectly. The target that we're going for gets obliterated, and we drop all of our bombs. They're gone, so we can land. And we kind of go back to meet with the rest of our planes to make sure that we're in line.
And when you fly back, it's a beautiful landing. All of you fly and you land perfectly. And when you land, you see all the mechanic armorers, Mel and all of her privates, and they're all there waiting for you. And they clap when you arrive. And you also see Masha Rudina, your training officer. She's got her hands crossed when you all land. She looks at you all and she goes, all right. You did well. You didn't disappoint me. And then she stands straight, and you see from behind you, Marina Raskova walks up. And she looks she's like, this is Section 2C, I think. You did the best out of all the sections tonight. It is an honor to serve in the Red Army with you.
It's an honor to serve with you and to be a part of something that you had such a hand in.
Well, only did what I could so that brave women like you could serve the motherland. Well, congratulations, airwomen.
I kind of just like nudge Lena, and I just have a huge grin on my face.
And she nods at you all, and then Rudina salutes and kind of like gives you all a look.
Oh yeah, we said.
Saluting back, and then
Lena, like, she's so delayed. Like, she just...
And Marina Scoba sort of led off, and you have Dokia Bershanskaya, who's your regimental commander, comes up, and you can hear her talking to Rudina. She says, make sure that you do something nice for this section. They made us look very good. And they leave. And Rudina looks at you all, she's like, what are you all doing standing around? As if this is some kind of a fun time. Go back to your barracks, have a drink. You did well. Don't waste my time, go.
Lena, like, turns to go and sort of trips over herself and then gets herself back up. And
Irina catches you as she sees you trip.
Thanks. Oh, and thank you
Nice
so
navigating.
much. You did so well. Clipper likes you. I can tell.
She gives you kind of like a weird look, like, okay, a little crazy. But she's like, sure, yeah, I like Clipper too.
Yeah. Oh god, it would be weird if only Clipper liked you.
She's like, right. Let's get that drink. And she kind of just like walks with you.
So we're all heading back to the barracks?
Yeah. And as you're heading back, Anastasia, she
sorry,
starts
can I do
singing
one-
a song. She starts to sing like a good sort of folk song, a nice tune. And she's got a beautiful, clear soprano voice, a little bird-like. And she just is sort of like singing this happy song about, the boatman on the Volga River. And she's singing it with you all as you're going back towards your barracks.
I kind of lean over to Lena. I'm like, she's not so bad. At least she's got a voice.
She also has a Victrola. I mean, she has the Victrola. The one that's in our barracks, that's hers. She brought that one. That one is hers.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, she's...
princess then.
Yeah, but she's not bad. She's just Anastasia. She might kill you.
She's like, what?
Not intentionally. I don't think she would intentionally kill anybody. I think that she just,
Accidentally kill somebody?
yeah, and maybe herself.
Irina laughs at that and just you hear the chuckle.
So once we get back into the barracks, Titania turns to her squad that she's very, very proud of. Ladies, we all did an amazing job tonight. I'm incredibly proud of each and every one of you and how we all worked together. And she leans over and kind of puts her hand on Anastasia. We have, Anastasia was gracious enough to bring us this. She pulls out the very, very nice vodka. And I think tonight calls for us to celebrate.
And Polly goes, hell yeah!
Yeah, and Irina joins too, and she's just like cheering.
This vodka is amazing. It is like a lot of times vodka can be, I don't know if have you ever had a vodka that you can buy like for like $3 in a gallon jug and you're like, what is that? I think it's paint thinner and it's terrible. Yeah. I had some once called Vodka of the Gods. I don't recommend it. It was really bad.
Not of the gods.
No. But this is vodka that is so smooth. You're like, oh, this is what this is supposed to taste like? And for Lena, you have never had anything like this before in your life.
I think when Lena like takes her like first sip, she has that moment because isn't the sign of really good vodka the fact that it doesn't taste like alcohol?
Yes.
So like I think she has the first sip and she's like, oh, like she doesn't quite believe. Like she's like, oh, we just got water. Okay, everyone else is excited about this. Yay!
Oh my gosh, I hope that Lena just drinks way too much.
She totally does. She doesn't.
Yeah.
It's water, and then by the time she realizes it isn't, it's
Oh my gosh, I hope you get really drunk and then we go.
go take
Dude,
care of the
dude,
other
yeah,
regiment. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that that's what Lena like leads into though. Actually, is her like after she's hit the point, she's like, okay, now no more. We have things that need to happen today. I went into the hangar, and all of her planes were ruined. I am so sure that it was... Oh, shoot. I forget what the name of the other regiment is.
The 218.
The 218. Thank you. I'm sure it was the 218. I know they did it because they also messed with the Clipper. It would have been difficult to land if Mel and I hadn't caught it. But we did, so we gotta get him. We gotta go back in there, and we gotta get him. And Mel said she would help.
Titania gets
Have I heard-
Titania gets very serious. They messed with the planes how?
They made it so that it would be hard for the flaps to go down. I should describe this better. when you pull on the yoke and you release the flaps, usually
Tanya looks over at the other ladies. Like,
Do I know who this other regiment is at all?
You do.
we've had some run-ins.
I know you guys do, but I was wondering if I do.
Oh yeah. So on this base, there are 5 main regiments that are training. There are 3 women's regiments. The 586, which is like, they're like the fighter pilots, right? So they've got these like fighter planes, and they're very glamorous, and they are going to go and do, all of this like dogfights, like, oh, glamorous. Everyone's like, ooh, 586. And then you have the 587, which are the newest bombers that the Soviet Union has. They're very fancy. And then you have yours with the World War I airplanes. They're not so fancy. And then on the other side of the base, you have the 217, the 218. And the 217 is a men's fighter unit, so they've got also fighter planes. And the 218th is a bomber regiment that has the same kind of crappy planes that you do. And there is no on this base male regiment with the fanciest, newest bombers. So there's a little bit of resentment that the best new bombers this women's regiment has, and that there's no men's regiment that has the same planes. And they also have crappy planes, and they kind of steal all your stuff. Like they're like, oh, we're more important than you. We're just going to take all your supplies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know background, like what my character would know. I'm totally in with Lena, and I'm like, I lean in and I'm like, they took our things. I'm in. What's the plan?
I don't know.
You still have some of that paint.
Yes.
I know you're the one that painted that thing on that plane.
I did not. I think Mel did. But Mel could get us paint. We could.
I think we give their planes some names.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm going to name one Fart Face.
Do it.
And
Yes.
Sarah looks up and she goes, I think I should name one like Doom Soul Sadness.
Yes. Yes. Yes, like them.
Or Sad Pilot Tears.
Yes.
I like that one.
Yes.
So Tanya jumps in. All right, look, I agree that I think the 218 has something coming to it, and I don't think this is a bad idea. I think we need to plan everything out so that we do not get in trouble, especially after having done as fine of a job as we did.
And Polya says, paint! Hell yeah! And then she brings out the bad vodka. She's like, I think we need more vodka.
I think she needs more vodka. And I point at Tanya.
Again, I don't think we shouldn't do it, but I think we're going to need to be a little bit more sober.
I am more sober than I look.
I'm more artistic whenever I'm not.
Look,
I am
if you all
gonna
want to
go
go
get
right now,
Mel.
that's fine.
I'm gonna go get Mel. And then I'm gonna come back. And then we're gonna be sober. And then we're gonna paint them.
Yeah, I nod. I'm like, yeah.
And Anastasia's like, wait, are we gonna do something naughty?
No, this is legit. They deserve this. They had this coming to them.
Her sister is not the and I think Lena realizes more of the connections, and then she starts sweating and stops really being able to talk so well anymore. Not that she was talking that well before, let's be real.
And then Anastasia, she says, you know what? I've never been able to do anything bad.
You cannot tell your sister, or else we'll paint you.
No, but my father always made me behave. I'm the baby of the family, and I could never do anything. I just had to practice over and over, and I could never get dirty or do anything. I just had to practice all the time, and I like practicing. I really.
I had like a totally different experience as a kid. I'm the youngest too. How many siblings you got?
3.
I got 6.
Oh.
Booyah. I'm the youngest.
Okay, so I hear what everyone is saying. And so Tanya stands up. For the record, I do not agree with any of these behaviors. Aside from the record, get Lena some water and a coat. Let's go. And she walks out.
I think that Lena's going to make a scrounging roll, is what I think is happening.
Okay.
And I think you are definitely using luck because you are not going through proper channels for this one.
No, that would not be the right way to go with this one. All right. Do I get +1 because I'm doing this for the regard of Clipper and what they did to my poor sweet plane?
Yes. Because of course, this is revenge for what has been done to your plane, of course.
It is. I'm
Without a
revenging
doubt.
this. Oops,
Nice.
switching over.
Okay.
Sweet. Partial success.
Partial success. You choose you're going to get what you want, but you have to choose 2.
Okay.
You attract unwanted attention. You take 1 harm from lack of sleep. You get poor quality stuff. You incur a debt.
Oh, okay. So for the audience, I'm trying to choose between incurring a debt or 1 harm for lack of sleep.
You have to pick 2.
Oh, I have to pick 2? I'll
Yeah,
take both
2
of
of the
those then.
4.
There we go. That was easy.
Okay. Lack of sleep and incurring a debt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, lack of sleep seems appropriate for
Yes.
what's going on and Lena's current condition.
Yes. So you're going to take a harm. That's fine. You head to the hangar, I take it.
Yes. I also want to try and grab Mel.
So you head to the hangar. And when
I
you
think
go
we're
there,
all in on this trip.
oh yeah. You head to this hangar and you open it up, right? It's nighttime. Like you've just done a night mission, so it's like the middle of nothing, right? And you go into this hangar, which should be completely empty because like we're done for the day. And it is mostly empty, but there's a little light, like a little sort of an oil lamp, and you see Mel, and she's sleeping next to the planes. And the minute you open the door, she pops up with a wrench.
No,
She's like, oh.
it's the mission. It's the mission. We're doing the mission now. We need paint. It's the mission.
And she looks you all over, and then she sees Rain, and she goes, "You're the new girl."
Are we all there? Okay, I didn't know if she was getting Mel by herself. Yeah, okay. Yeah, what she means is we need some paint.
She gives you an appraising look. She's like, "Huh. All right. Wait, how much paint?"
A lot.
What? I need to put fart
Who need
face
that
on
much?
a plane.
How much did it take you to paint Clipper on the plane? We're gonna name some planes. It's fine.
Mel. This is Mel. This is Mel, and she is also on the mission. She's
Oh, you're
on
coming
the
with
mission.
us. All right.
Elena's gonna just sort of like, and then like
I kind of like put my hand like on Elena, and I'm like, she's a little drunk.
And I was like,
Did you know good vodka does not taste like it? It doesn't.
"Wait, where did you get good vodka?"
Nowhere.
That's really not.
Nowhere.
Titania kind of jumps in. It's really not important.
And
But
Mel-
there might be some in for you if you want to get.
She has this huge long wrench. She smacks against her hand. She says, "That's the debt. I want some of this vodka."
I look back at them, or like whoever had the vodka.
Anastasia, who by the way has zoned off again. Like she's like checked out of this conversation a little bit, and she's just sort of looking at the planes and a little drunk.
Lena's like,
Yeah, everyone's looking at her now, I think, at this
And then
point.
and then all of a sudden, like, it takes her a bit of time, and then she realizes everyone's looking at her, and then she's like, "What? You're my best friends."
when you
And then she
do-
like gives Titania this big hug.
Titania looks at Mel. Yes, we can get you some of this vodka.
And Mel's like, "Okay, all right, sure. We're gonna have to get our way over there to the 218th without getting caught and get back."
Deal.
Titania looks at Lena doubtfully.
Well, what do you think? What's the plan? Do you know how to get in there without getting noticed, or?
Well, when I was going around, can I use when I went and like snuck around the bombers this last time as a okay. So Lena's like, "Look, when I was going around, I just wanted to see the bombers. I wanted to see if they were good. I realized that if we go on the side of the airstrip, then it's pretty darker than you think it is with your eyes. But when you look at it from other places, then it's darker."
Lena, could you just show us?
Yes, we're gonna go this way.
And Mel's like, "All right, Lena, you take this bucket of paint.
Okay.
Junior Lieutenant Petrova, this one."
Thank you.
And then she looks you up, Arena, and she goes, "You, new girl, she hands you 2 buckets of paint."
Yeah, I take the 2. No
Did you-
problem.
And she's like, "All right." And then she takes 2, and then she looks at Anastasia, she's like, "No." And she but she hands Paulina 1, she hands Sarah 1, she takes 1, and then she has her big wrench. She's like, "Okay, let's go."
I think
I feel like one of you should make an eyeball roll here to get your way in a good
I
way.
think Lena is navigating us.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what's happening right now.
Revive me,
Although
is that
her
one
being
luck?
wasted is probably still going to roll better than me sober, so.
I feel like that one's luck. Am I right?
It is
Eyeball?
skill.
Oh, it's skill.
It is skill.
Oh boy, guys.
But aren't you skillful?
I am. Ooh, can I add a +1 because of this being all in favor of my regard for dear Clipper?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Because this is like to get vengeance.
This is
Yeah.
the vengeance mission.
This is a
I like that
vengeance-
you're like, this is the mission.
Oh, yes!
Hey.
Yes.
Sweet.
You get 1 forward. So you can ask a question, and then when any of you all respond, like act on that question, you get a +1.
Okay.
1 time. Because you can give that forward to another person as well. What question would you like to ask about your mission? And you can ask now or later.
I think I want to hold it,
Okay.
and I might give it to someone else, but I don't really. Lena knows where she's going. She knows the dark spots that you see with your eyes. And she knows that she has a paint can, and she's gonna go there, and she's gonna paint fart face.
You travel, and here's the thing. I don't know if any of you have been on an Air Force base, but it is true. Where those flight lines are, it is dark, right? And so Lena starts taking you out towards the flight line, and you have to do this sort of long, it's like taking the perimeter. It's going to be a long way around. As opposed to going through the base, you're going all the way around to the perimeter. These are also places where you've run before, because you have to do these long runs, because you have to get yourself fit. And so you're doing this long run all the way around the base because you're at opposite ends of the space. And you're going to try to make your way all the way to where the 218th hangs out with their, with that crew of theirs, including Alexei, but also the rest of their crew. And as you want to get your way over there, and you want to get into their hangars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have many planes. They have many hangars, just as you all do. So I don't know how much shenanigans you're getting up to, but I'm going to need one of you two, Tatiana, or Irena, to roll. I feel like this is a bunch of tempting fate, is what this is what I think this is.
I think you should do it.
Sure. I
Tempting fate is
have been
guts.
kind of pushing to go do it with Lena, so.
I would like you to roll some guts.
All right, that makes
And
sense.
you can get that +1 if Lena will give it to you.
Yeah, why not?
All right, here we go.
They shouldn't have painted our planes. in a
12?
mess.
Okay, so this is a 12. I want you to tell me how you do it.
So this is how we paint them?
I want to know your infiltration.
Okay.
I want to know the whole thing because
Yeah, so Lena tells us where like the dark spots are.
and
We
you
kind
see-
of go, we're all bundled together and we're like walking really slow, like slow-mo. And we get to a black spot and we wait. And then we'll go to the next one and then we wait. And then while one person's painting, the rest of us are like keeping eye and watching all around to make sure that we're okay.
And what do you do when there's like two guys who are on guard, right? They're on guard duty. They're not on guard duty in this particular hangar, but they're wandering past, right? They're walking by.
Ooh, maybe
What do
we
you-
have like one person who's just watching for that. And then like they funnel like a message down to the rest of us with like hand signals. So we all know and we like move.
And then as you like,
It's like a covert operation, like legit.
you slide into the darkness and the shadows as these two soldiers, right? They walk by and they're smoking and they're sort of laughing, and they're sort of like talking about, stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Just like stupid things. They're like, well, I don't know. I bet you I can do more push-ups than you can do. Well, I don't know about that. And they just are like, and they wander by completely oblivious to this beautiful fart face right on the tail of that plane. And they walk on by and you sort of melt back out of the shadows to each one of these planes. And Titania, what do you put on your plane?
Oh, that's hard. I think on mine, she's gonna put on hers just really big, all caps, butt chaser.
Irena, what do you put on yours?
I have been thinking about it.
Mm,
I think she goes more subtle and she does slow poke.
oh, nice.
Ooh.
And Sarah Rabinovich, she puts like, it's like the gothest thing ever. It's sort of like a sad, like little sad sun. Like, and it's kind of cutesy, but in a way that's it's not badass sadness. It's just sort of like, wah, wah.
That
And,
makes it even better.
And Polya just puts curse words. Like, she just puts a lot of curse words on there. And Anastasia, she paints some flowers and some hearts, and she's sort of like a little bunny.
Oh my gosh, princess.
And she's just like little hearts, and she makes, and it's not badass, is what I would say. I don't think that she didn't necessarily get the point, but it works, right? Like
I
it
mean,
will be
I
embarrassing.
think at first she starts drawing and it's like a flower and we all kind of look at her like, and we all look at each other and then we're like, no, we'll let her keep going.
She's having fun. Let her be.
And she is. I will tell you, she seems to be having the most fun ever in this moment, just painting with you all. And this, I think, is a good moment for you, Irena, to fulfill your mark and tell a story of home.
Okay.
And if you reveal a significant new truth, I will also count this as a reach out.
All right.
Because we have an injured person.
Yeah, I don't know how I snuck all the way over here. Just
You're like
in
sneaking
pain.
ability
You're in a
with-
lot of pain.
just every time we go between the dark spots.
Yeah, I guess this is probably while we're sneaking, I think, not at the painting part, but I think she'll just be like, this reminds me of the time when me and my sister Sonia, oh my gosh, we got ourselves into so much trouble. I mean, she's older, so she got away with a lot more, well, got blamed for it a lot more than I did. But one time we snuck into our older brother's room and we took all of their toys and all their sheets and we put them outside. It was the best. This is like a drunk story.
Lena, the entire
Because now
time
the
that she's-
alcohol's hitting her as we're getting further.
Lena's like, whoa.
It was so funny when they woke up in the morning and they were missing everything from the rooms. I think they thought our parents left them.
No. That was so good. That was so good.
It was in retaliation. One time they took our Barbies and they took their heads and they hung them in the door. It was gross.
They hung your dolls' heads in the door?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if Barbies existed. I don't. I might have just.
You
It was
wouldn't have
dolls.
them. But you dolls.
Yeah.
Lena's just so impressed by this. Lena's hit the point of her like drunk stage where just about everything is really impressive right before it sort of like tips into the like, okay, now we're just like
I imagine us going back and I'm like carrying Lena.
yeah, she's just like
And I will tell you, Irena, you also get your advance where you can open up a regard slot. So here in this moment, as you have all graffitied a number of planes. A number of planes.
Yeah, I think that my thing is gonna be I trust Lena. Because like her navigation for the plane, drunk navigating to get us into the thing. I think that's gonna be it.
I like it. And as you're walking back, you notice something in the corner of your eye. And it's Titania who notices it because you, unlike some people, are a lot less drunk. just
Someone's got to be.
someone's the grown-up.
I feel like she's definitely the grown up in the situation. She's like,
Someone's got to
"We
watch
should
out for all you
plan."
crazy people.
And you just see out in the corner, sort of coming out of a barracks, you see Alexei, and he sees you all walking back, and he just sort of waves and then just goes right back in the barracks.
All right, I think we need to start. And she starts just kind of like pushing forward. Let's just kind of speed this show up a little bit, shall we?
And you make it back to your barracks, and the sun is rising as you sort of arrive back home. And I need you to roll your reach out roll, Irena.
Okay.
You're
And this
telling that
is
story of home, which is a significant new truth.
silliest.
But it says a lot about you, is what I'm going to say.
Oh yeah. Like Arena's like the youngest child of 7 children. And she's a weirdo.
This is just
What?
a 2d6.
It's just a 2d6 by itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, while that roll is going on, once we get back into the barracks, I want to.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can't win.
You can't win. Just take that
It
fail.
was a terrible story. So you're like the most you're the most sober one of all of us. You're probably like, this is a terrible story.
I don't like this story at all. No.
it's like a story of like family and home where your family and home are under siege. Like
Yeah, it's not great.
She keeps rubbing in the family thing to you, and you're just like, my family's probably all dead. Thanks a lot.
My family's dead, but that's cool. Yeah, no, tell your stories. That's Meanwhile, once we're back, though, I guess I'll just be leaning on the wall because my leg is probably just hanging off by like a thread right now. But I also open the door of the barracks, and I'm kind of standing by there. And if someone were to give Titania a questioning look, it's because as the sun is coming up, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to hear them yelling from here once they actually see the planes. And I just want to hear that sweet, sweet song.
Oh, you do. And you hear a whole kerfuffle. Like what?
Kerfuffle.
What the? And like you can and you hear it, and Mel smiles and is like, well, I've got to go back to my barracks.
Lena's like, wait, because like now she's come down a little bit. She's like, she like kind of grabs Mel's shirt sleeve, and she's like, thank you. I saw the, I like what you did to Clipper's tail.
Oh, well, thanks. You got my back.
Yeah. As soon as this headache goes away, yeah.
And then she looks at Irena, gives her a
Irena's
wink.
in the bed, in Anastasia's bed, already like.
And Anastasia's standing there being like, wait, where do I sleep?
Oh God, is she gonna crawl into bed with Lena?
She's gonna go and take Nick's bed because like Nick's bed's empty, so she's gonna. But then she's like, but that was. Oh, and then she crawls into Nick's bed, and Mel's like, Junior Lieutenant, I'll expect that vodka.
Oh, you'll get it.
She nods to you all, heads off, and you all get your rest. Until the next day, when, before your final mission, you all have to go to class.
Uh-oh.
And this, when you get to this classroom, it's one of the classrooms. It's classroom F. It's one of your training days. And there in classroom F, you have this kindly woman. You've seen her before, and you can tell by her uniform that she is the Politruk. She's a captain. And she's there, and behind her is Senior Lieutenant Svetlana Sheremetova, the junior Politruk, the deputy Politruk, who does not like any of you all very much. And the deputy Politruk is just sitting down, and there, standing in front of everyone, is Captain Olga Barsukova. And she is older. She's probably in her 40s. And she's sort of going gray, and she's got her hair in a bun. And she's a little round, and she smiles at you all when you come in. And she says, I am so, so happy to see you all. Come in, please have a seat. I am Captain Olga Barsukova, and I am your Politruk, and I'm so happy to see you. I've heard you all did so well in your mission last night and have impressed so many people. I've heard so many things about all of you. I don't think that you've heard so many things about me. I am here to help you all. I care very much about every one of you. I am here to make sure that you have the best political education. I'm here to protect the motherland. So, you, oh, darling, and she walks up to Lena. Well, you look terrible. Are you all right?
Lena, her headache is so bad that like it's hard for her to focus on the words that are happening in the room. So she just nods and then tries not to throw up.
She says, Senior Lieutenant Sheremetova, why don't you get this one a glass of chai? I think she would like that. She looks like she might need it. And like, Sheremetova is just like staring daggers. Like she does not want to be fetching anybody chai. But she goes off and she brings some chai to you. And Captain Barsukova just pats your shoulder.
Lena's
I
like,
do wonder, does Lena remember last night?
This is a question.
bits and pieces.
Mm,
She knows. She knows they did something to the planes.
mm.
But right now, I think it's all still super hazy, and the headache is what's like first and foremost. And so, like, when she gets a nice cup of tea, and there's like a pat on her shoulder, and like, even though she's got this splitting headache and she would really just rather not be there, and she doesn't really understand why this woman is being so nice, but she appreciates it. It reminds her of her mother, and so she just looks at her and she's like, "Spasiba," and then she just, which means thank you, and then she just like starts sipping the chai.
And in her motherly way, Captain Barsukova walks over to Irena and she goes, well, you are new to Squadron 2, Section C. Welcome, welcome. I have a question for you. So, would you say that the enemies of the people, the bourgeoisie, of course, but also aristocrats, religious figures, social parasites, eggheads, nationalists, do you think that these dangerous elements are any less of a threat to our motherland than the fascists?
I guess the answer would be no. I want to make sure that I'm not. Yeah, she's just like, no, they're all threats.
And she smiles and she says, dear, that was so lovely. And that's true, everyone. You have to watch out for threats from within. They're very dangerous. I watch out for threats from within all the time. It's what I love to do. So,
Gosh,
you know.
she's creepy. She creeps me out.
Oh, yeah.
Lena has no idea how much like dangerous situation this is.
You know, I want you all to know that we're all here together to protect the regiment. So, when any of your friends need help, you should think twice about that. Because it's not something that I love to do, but you know that military personnel who fail to report treason are themselves subject to 10 years of imprisonment. So if any of your friends commit treason and you don't say anything, well, sadly, you'll go to jail for 10 years in a gulag, which would be terrible. I'm sure none of you would like that. So I want you to know that if I find a counter-revolutionary, I will arrest her. I may not want to, but I do want to. And if I find anyone who's undermining or weakening the security of the USSR by slacking, wrecking, parasitism, or aiding the enemy, well, that's treason, you know? Not doing your job well enough, with enough vigor, that's treason. And Section 58(1)(b) clearly states that treason by military personnel incurs, well, an immediate death sentence. And if you would run away, this offender, well, then your family will go to jail for 10 years. And I'm sure you wouldn't want that. So, I want you all to have success here. That's what's important to me, that you all succeed. So I have to warn you against Section 58(14), which deals with counter-revolutionary sabotage. So, remember, conscious non-execution or deliberately careless execution of defined duties aimed at weakening the power of the government and of the functioning state apparatus is subject to at least 1 year of imprisonment under especially aggravating circumstances. And I find any dereliction of duty especially aggravating. Then you might just be executed with confiscation of property for your family as well. And I want you to know that I burn to find counter-revolutionaries, slackers, wreckers, people who don't do what they need to do. I hope we understand each other, all of us.
Of course. And if we find anything like that, we would of course let you know. The biggest punishment would be to have any treasonous people inside of the motherland.
If I remember from my notes, and she looks at Shermetova, you're Junior Lieutenant Petrova, are you not?
I am.
That was a very good answer. Very good answer. I think that you would appreciate the dangers of counter-revolutionary thought. Your mother, I thought, was perhaps, well, that's not important now, at this moment, right?
I haven't spoken to my mother in many years.
That's good. I mean, you don't need to speak to your mother because you have me. I like to think of myself as a mother to all of you. Good. Good. If you need any sorts of refreshing on the various articles that might get you in trouble, Article 58, Article 133, you can always visit me if you have heard any rumors of anyone who might be treasonous. You can always come to me. Please remember that I'm here for you. Oh, one last thing. Last night, there was a mission. It was our night mission, the first one. Terrible weather. I want you to know that we had our first losses. The regiment did.
Oh,
2
no.
airwomen died. They were caught up by the weather. They couldn't tell the sky from the ground, and they crashed. I bring this up because you must know something. If you crash and we cannot recover your body, the state will assume that you are a traitor. And you can have no pension for your family, no awards. You'll be seen as a traitor. So, this is one other thing I command of all of you. If ever in any of your missions, one of your fellow airwomen is downed, mark her location well, so that we may recover her bodies, so that she may be honored as a natural-born Soviet airwoman and not as a traitor. That is also your duty.
We would never do anything less.
Any questions? Good. You are dismissed. Remember, there's no favoritism, and you're all here for the good of the motherland. And I'm always here to look out and look after you. You are dismissed. Oh, thank you.
Rena just like, that was Lena giving back her like cup of tea. And then she just like tries to go toward the door.
Titania turns around and leaves the conversation where it started to go with her mother has put her in a very bad mood. And she storms out.
And you all see that. Titania is not in a good mood as they leave.
Yeah. I'm definitely curious about that whole encounter. Irina's actually quiet after that thing and walks out as well.
Lena is quiet, but I think not because she fully understood the ramifications of what happened in that interaction, but because too much talking may lead to vomit. So.
And you all make your way back to your barracks after that long. And that, there's like a lot of like pamphlets about the various articles of treason that you might want to take with you to keep, so you can remember that just a lot of things can be treason really quickly. And You're hoping that maybe you'll see Nick back at the barracks, but she's not there yet. But you know that tonight you have your final mission. And that mission will be bombing actual Nazis. And before the night falls, you hope that perhaps Nick will be there to rejoin the regiment. And that, my friends, is where we end this session of Night Witches. Episode 2, Don't Turn Around, the Politruks in Town.
Oh gosh, she's so evil. She's so evil.
Is she? She's just like a mother.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
wicked stepmother from Cinderella, maybe.
Maybe. Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. It has been so lovely to have you here. I appreciate all those who are in the crowd watching the show. This show means a lot to me as a veteran and as a gamer and somebody who cares about these things. And so I thank every single one of you for being here for this show that doesn't have any magic except for the magic of vodka.
And friendship.
The magic of friendship, and also cats.
Magic of cats.
The magic of cats. So I would like to read off the donations that have come in so far, which is very exciting. Let me refresh. So we have one new donation that's come in from Willen TW, who says, "Thanks all for Night Witches." And Willen is, or William, but there's actually an N in his name, is the guru, the brave comrade who oversees our Wikia and does amazing work. And I will be updating that Wikia with some exciting Night Witches stuff, probably tonight. We'll see. And so I want to give a big shout out to William for all of the work that he does with the Wikia. It's pretty amazing. And I want to thank everyone who has donated so far. We are in the middle of our Seed and Spark campaign, which is pretty awesome. It is the thing that allows us to do what we do here. And we're working on this goal. If you can give a little, or if you are a multimillionaire and want to give us $1 million, that's cool. If not, anything you can will work. And what this will do is help us fund the next season, fully fund the next season of Geek Space TV, where we are able to bring stories like this and stories, sort of different kinds of stories that you might see in other channels, bring in different creators, sort of create a community that will sort of give us representation and diversity and comradeship and friendship and joy and love. And so if you can give us something for the Seed and Spark, that would be wonderful. And I'm sure someone has placed a link in chat. Otherwise, give us a follow. You can give us a subscribe. You can give us bits. You can just hang out with us. You can share. You can tweet. You can join us in Discord, which I hope somebody will give a link to, because Discord is amazing. We all hang out there, and we don't drink as much vodka in the Discord, but maybe
speak for yourself.
Coming up next, we are going to move over to board games after this. We are doing Forbidden Skies. I'm not, because I'm not physically there. So sad. But there'll be board games and more chatting, and we'll be able to sort of hang out with our crew. So please, we're going to go down for a bit and then come back up for board games and excitement. But before we go, what I want to do is I would love for this amazing cast who fills my heart with joy to introduce themselves and tell us who they are and where we can see them out in the world and who they're about. And let's go backwards this time, and let's start with Shell Game.
Hi, I'm Shell Game. You can find me on Twitch and on Twitter and on Instagram. On Instagram, I'm the Shell Game, though. You can also catch me in Worlds Beyond, which happens Wednesdays at 7 o'clock on this very channel. I play Anon Nisi, who's an appealing paradox and just really good at connecting with people. She hasn't, I think, used any of the secrets against anyone yet, but she hasn't either been in a position where she's needed to. Secrets.
So much like Lena is what I'm hearing.
Huh?
I said much like Lena is what I'm hearing.
She has all the secrets, but she's way suaver than Lena. Like, she can handle it. I think if Lena was in like any of the situations that Anon is in, like, she would just freak out, not know what to do. Like,
Please, to Rocket, the one who keeps this section in less trouble.
I do what I can. Yeah, so I am Rocket Fox. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even though I haven't yet cracked the code on how to properly use Twitter. It's very foreign to me. But yeah, I have a Twitch channel. If you look up Rocket Fox anywhere, you'll likely find me. And as another random point, I started another Instagram project called Makeup and Mice, where I do different makeup looks with my pet mouse. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, that's a thing.
that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And the only other thing is I work with a nonprofit called Superheroines, etc., She for short. And our mission is to empower women to embrace their inner nerd. Women, anyone who identifies as women, our goal is to create safer, more inclusive spaces for people. So you can check us out anywhere under Superheroines ETC, and you can see our website if you have any more curiosities.
And the instigator, and probably the sensitive one about family issues.
You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. It's pretty easy to find me. I do a bunch of other tabletop stuff, so if you want to check that out, you can do that. And I work as a professional in the game industry, and we currently have our beta going if you want to hop into the game, Ashes of Creation Apocalypse.
Fancy. So exciting. And I am Trooper SJP, and I have been your game master, game moderator for today. Thank you all. And I'm, about on Trooper SJP, and you can find me at Academic Foxhole on the Twitter, and I have a pipe as an emote, but it's not really a pipe. It is not a pipe.
Whoa.
Blows your mind, right? It's just an image of a pipe. What are we going to do? So thank you everyone for being here. It's much appreciated. We will be back here next Saturday, same bat time, same bat channel, with the whole crew to finish up Engels and then go off to our first duty station. And we're going to have the credits come up. And then after that, we're going to be having tabletop games and chatting, and we're going to wrap up our Streamapalooza half marathon excitement. So thank you, everyone. Please be brave and fly right. Thank you, everyone.